Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the greatest episode of Bloke in a Bar in the history of Bloke in a Bar episodes. It's a beautiful moment. Now, don't let these guys gaslight you into thinking that this was a planned attack where they were wearing the colours of their club. This is the colour of the great Maroon state that won the Game 3 against all odds. One of the most famous Origin victories, in my personal opinion. I've got the great Hello Sport, Tom and Eddy, Eddy and Tom. What's going on, boys?
Yeah, you got to take your licks. We're here to take licks.
Here to take licks?
You got to take your licks.
Now, I want to ask the punter and the dribbler and the bloke community, is it okay that I came fully committed to the lick and you have come only here up committed? Is that okay? Are you okay with that? Leave a comment section. I came all the way to the edge here.
Because you lost the series. We lost a dead rubber game.
I didn't see that fine print in the contract.
I also would like to draw people back to whatever fucking minute it was in the last podcast. Just listen to the wording. The verbiage used was face. Paint your face.
If Queensland win, you've got to paint your faces maroon.
Now, we've actually gone beyond the face and gone the neck, the ears. What's of great concern is that when we went to just wash it off our hands, it is not coming off.
Great concern to you, not to us.
Well, no, concern to myself. Eddie assured me that this was fucking face paint that was going to come off and that it won't even come off my hands. So...
Look, it might shock people at home, but I'm actually not a face paint connoisseur.
Especially in a lockdown.
It's not, my father wasn't a face painter. His father wasn't either. So it doesn't come naturally to me, the face paint. I go with what the professionals say. I was assured it'll come off.
It's not coming
the
off.
professional salesman.
Yeah. Well,
at the face paint shop.
We'll know in full time. This may be an oil-based paint that will never come off. But
yeah, you'll have a good idea because we do film about even after this, so you'll
be able to tell.
You'll be able to tell how we look.
You'll be able to tell. Tom always looks red, so he might
exactly.
not look any different.
I look less red today, which is nice.
I think the most surprising thing is that you're not a face paint man. That's the most surprising thing I got.
Oh, does that shock you? Does it?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Not from a long line of face painters.
No.
I can tell you, the stinging in my eyes would suggest it's the first time he's ever fucking painted a face because I'm feeling like that.
Well, to be fair, he's the man that went out and did it. Got it for you.
Yeah,
he was on the blower to 50 joints.
Yeah.
No one talks about the work that was put in to get the paint for you.
No, you're right, but that's his role.
It's hard to find Maroon paint in New South Wales.
Within the organisation of Hello Sport, Eddy is Minister for Face Paint, though. So
I am also Minister for Wigs. I got you one. But again, that wasn't in the fine print, so we haven't worn that. We haven't painted our arms. We've done more than the bare minimum.
Okay, really? Well, let us know.
Painted our neck.
Oh, well, okay. Let us know in the comment section. I came for a full licking. Did they come for half a licking? Maybe 75% of a licking? I'm not sure if it's a full licking, but that's just my opinion. We'll let the punters decide.
Yeah, we can. But I would also point out to the punter and the dribbler that when you lost one game, all you wore was a wig. We've lost one game of dead rubber and we've painted our face. So
with oil paint.
But you have tried to gaslight with the Manly jerseys.
No, this is a coincidence. This is a coincidence. It's now all eyes towards the grand final. This was just a fluke.
After big famous wins, Tom and I wear our Manly jerseys. Simple as that.
Well, it's great to see. It is great to see. Now, look, when it keeps on coming, the Rugby League news, the tales of Tiger Town. What did you think, boys? Oh, grab a case of Bloke in a Bar this week. Support the platform. Follow Hello and Sport. Hello and Sport.
Hello and Sport.
Follow Hello Sport on Instagram and Facebook group Punter and Dribblers, and subscribe to their podcast on your podcast app. Thoughts of Tales from Tiger Town?
I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. Madge Maguire, not the troll psychopath I think that he's been made out to be. I mean, obviously it's filmed by the Tigers, so...
Yeah, I think it's that first episode definitely positioned the CEO and Madge the best they could position them.
Yes.
Well, I don't think they're going to make him out as tyrants. You know what I mean? Like...
Tales from Tyrant Town.
Yeah, exactly right. It's Tales from Tiger Town, and the fans expect a softer side of their leaders.
Yeah,
I think
but I mean, when the opening line is, I hate the perception that hard work's a bad thing. You know they're coming in with a bit of off the front foot kind of stuff.
Yeah. Where best defense is a good offense.
Yeah.
I mean, but who's ever said that hard work's a bad thing?
Well, that's what I said in my review, which actually surprisingly got a lot of views. I was like, what the fuck? This is me sitting on the couch at home. I said, I don't think anyone has issues with the hard work. I think it's whatever the method is, it's not working. If hard work happens to be a part of that, then maybe it needs to change.
Yeah, they haven't shown us any footage of the hard work yet in terms of like when they're potentially. I've just heard this from the like grapevine that there are whips used at training.
We've heard there's whips used.
Really?
Like ancient Egypt and shit when they used to try and build the pyramids, there was just whips and like fucking torture.
I think that's actually a common misconception, a myth.
The people that build the pyramids were actually one of the best treated.
Yeah, they put their hands up. They said, we want to go to work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the pharaoh.
That's not even a G up. Like they were actually some of the best treated workers.
We all understand how like history is written by the victors, right? Like I'm sure the pharaohs fucking trying to paint some real.
I think this is
really
research.
Good.
I honestly think like it's research into their living standards compared to slaves in other industries. I'm honestly not G'ing up. Have you read the same thing?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, but I just find it hard to believe that a fucking like if you're a slave. You're a slave.
But they weren't slaves. They would sail down the Nile and go, who wants to jump on board and come help build the pyramid?
It's like the mines and shit. Obviously, way better circumstances than mines. But there's a lot of people that look back on that in 100 years and go, you used to fucking go underground, fucking covered in shit. Do you know what I mean?
We are also detracting from the fact that it was clearly built by aliens, but, you know, that's whatever.
And look, Tiger's probably not built by aliens at the moment.
Tiger's not built by aliens.
No, certainly not. And if they are, then they're treacherous aliens who want only the worst.
Yeah, because if they have the technology to get here but not the technology to win a comp, that's fucking bad aliens.
Or it shows how hard it is to win the comp.
That's a great song. That's a fucking great point, Eddie.
Fucking great point. Plenty of clubs trying and failing, mate. And potentially aliens trying and failing.
Trying and failing.
Well, they're everywhere. The sightings are, mate. There's even people coming out from deep within the American government who, you know, higher up in the system saying, mate, we've seen some shit that can't be explained.
Oh, yeah.
So we know they're here.
Yeah.
And look, if they love rugby league as much as us, and I'd like to think they do because it's the greatest game of all, they've tried their hand at winning a comp and it hasn't gone well.
So you're there's a bunch of aliens sitting on another planet going, fuck, I don't know, like the culture of the storm is great. We need to replicate that.
Yeah.
Come to it, and they've tried to replicate the culture of the storm, and they haven't got what the true blue meaning of a good culture is yet.
No.
There's only one bellyache in all the universe. That's what they're finding out.
They've got statues of bellyache on their planet.
Imagine if there's a planet just like dedicated to bellyache. He's like a hero.
I'm sure there is.
It could be, dude.
And it's like the
Are
storm.
you rolling that? Can you look me in the eye and tell me there isn't?
I can't. I can't look you in the eye. Period. At the moment with the fucking face paint on.
Yeah.
But that also adds to the nervousness I feel when I look into your eye.
Go on, mate.
And also the storm, like a lot of planets do have large 1,000-long-year storms.
Yeah,
so maybe it is,
That's true as well.
you know, the storm, bellyache, statues of the storm,
Yeah.
aliens, hard to win a comp. So
Rugby
you bring
League,
up,
Tiger Town.
It's all linked. It's all linked.
but yeah. So I hope that the whole. I thought it was good. Like, let me be clear. The first episode was fantastic. I thought it was great. Good setup for the rest. I hope the whole documentary isn't from that perspective, though. You know what I mean? I hope it switches perspective to like, okay, this episode is purely from maybe Tarmow or, you know, Adam Dewey. What's Adam doing?
Is Madge the main character?
Is Madge the main character? Yes. Is he the protagonist or the villain?
Look, I mean, they sort of had... From the test was pretty much all JL was the main character, wasn't it? From memory? Justin Langer, the coach.
He drove a lot of it.
He drove a lot of it.
He did.
I don't know that... It's interesting though, right? When we talk about the Origin doco that was shelved because of whatever the fucking reasons were, I find that this would be more invasive potentially to like a team's...
But I think it's more. I think
experience.
it's more the short turnaround nature
you don't
of
have
Origin, where you've only got 10 days max with the team to sort of get things dialed, and you don't want to be doing fucking interviews every 5 minutes. I think that's probably the argument, as opposed to a whole season. You can sort of like cherry pick moments.
Do you think someone like Madge is...
And also at Clubland, like you do have a lot of cameras following you around kind of anyway. Like it's just kind of part of the gig.
Yeah, okay.
for social content.
Yeah. So whereas like Origin, if there's like a doco, it's such a high pressure situation that that's where I agree with you. You'd think, oh, well, it's 10 days, it's not a whole season. But yeah, I think the high pressure situation from it, because you got to remember, like you're bringing all these guys in that don't really, like they're not mates from club. Like there's so much that could go wrong or right, as we fucking saw. But yeah. I hope it is from a different perspective the next few episodes. It's going to be, what was funny is like, you could see the the mood, if you will, changed from like game 1 to 3. It was just ratcheting it up.
That one where they're fucking interviewing the fans and the Roosters are just mauling them, and the guy's like trying to talk about like the players have just got to. He's looking at the camera like the players have just got to improve, and as he's looking at the camera, it's like Tedesco's scoring his like third try, and he's like, and he's like looking away at like and just in. And you just see his heart sink and then try and finish his sentence like, we just got to get better or something like that. And you're like, oh, you poor bastard. Tough season. Madge crying, though. That was the biggest takeaway for me. Madge in tears after like the third game of the season and just going like, I just believe in you boys so fucking much. You've got me emotional. I was like, holy shit.
He loves his rugby league.
He loves his rugby league.
Oh, fuck. He loves his rugby league.
I hope they go into like what it takes to deliver a great standing ovation. You know what I mean? Because it's part of the club. It's like it's entwined into the fabric of the club.
Yeah, the standing O from Tiger Town.
Yeah. You know, during a loss, is it appropriate? Obviously, it gets a big fucking turnout during the trial games.
Yep.
I think if they explore even an episode around the standing ovation, I'd like to see.
I would love to see what's the line to engage the standing ovation. Do you know what I mean? Like, there seems to be a general consensus among Tigers fans that, there's a standing ovation happening.
It comes from deep within them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would love to speak to a lot of Tigers fans and say, you know, where did that come from? And also, how do you all know that this is the moment?
This is when we're doing it.
Yeah, this is
standing
when we're doing
O's on.
Because
I reckon they know before the game. It's pre-planned to that point. Whereas like no matter what the fuck goes on here,
Yeah.
You don't reckon they off the cuff them any of them?
Well, you're right. There could be an off the cuff, but I more think that it's like, well, look, I would assume based on some of the moments where I've seen a standing O that it would have to be pre-planned because they didn't necessarily make sense to do it then.
That's right. And like it's rugby league, so there's always going to be dribblers up yelling on their feet, you know, yipping and yahooing. Like, is that the guy that I'm getting a lead off of?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a standing O like instigator where it's like
there may well be.
Yeah.
I mean, look, reach out if there is.
Maybe Tigers have got too many people yipping and yahooing, and that actually confuses the general public of Tigers fans going, fuck, I think there's a standing ovation. And they'll just get up on board.
Just get up.
Which would explain the moments in which they probably weren't appropriate, but they've got up anyway. Potentially.
Oh, I mean, look.
It's food for thought.
Mate, absolutely. A standing ovation doesn't hurt, that's for sure. It only adds to the value of the club, in my opinion anyway. It brings people together. Was it considered? Was it the appropriate time? No, but have you ever walked away from a standing ovation sad?
Is the West Tigers standing ovation like the Viking clap is for the Raiders?
That
is that
could be
their
it.
thing?
Their thing, just to
So
do
they're
it.
trying to hype the boys up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, fuck, you know what? The Tigers standing ovation may be the equivalent of Viking clap. It could be. Or the shark clap from Mick Innes, which is one of the greatest moments in rugby league
That was
history.
also a fantastic rugby league moment.
Watching Mick Innes run over, but it wasn't just like a little one. It was a
No. He had every bit of him doing that. Like every single fibre of his being was being put into that.
I think there was like a year after he retired or whatever. I think like one of the players had given the finger to someone in the crowd or something had happened where the player had interacted with the crowd and Mickey Innes was like having a go at the player.
Was that? I think it might have been Adden. Adden filmed back to Manly.
And you could see everyone like on Fox League going, is this bloke serious? Like,
Isn't you're the Viking clap guy, right?
You're that guy, aren't you? Fuck, so good. You could literally, and like people in the comment section, are you serious, bro? Like you're literally the guy that walked up to the Viking club and was doing these ones.
You Viking clap the Raiders, brah.
But again, it's honestly one of my favourite moments. The Viking clap from Mickey Innes to the Raiders fans. Obviously, if you're a Raiders fan, it's going to piss you off, but that's what you want.
Yes.
It's one of my favourite moments because it's a full disrespect.
It's the most disrespectful thing we've probably seen in that it's like, it's just paying them out as well. So he's just beaten them and then he's paying them out.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. That's what rugby league's all
Was
about.
that their premiership winning year as well, the Sharkies? I feel like it might have been.
Yeah, when you got a big swinging dick, you swing it.
You swing it and you swing it well.
And it's his last season. Probably fucking gives him a bit of Dutch courage.
Yep. Absolutely. So I got me thinking, the Tigers Town, great documentary. I'm definitely going to be watching next week. Good, fair play to Fox League and West Tigers for giving us that access.
Definitely.
Because like, you know, the other clubs, I think Knights did one in the off-season, but maybe not as in-depth. Maybe we're seeing this more because Fox League have advertised it, but fair play to Tigers and Fox League for putting us on. But I thought, what good documentaries or periods in rugby league history would you like to see?
True. Look, this is not because I'm in fucking maroon face paint right now, but 8 straight would have been a cool one. Like if you were able to have.
See, I don't think there's enough controversy in that.
But it depends. Like it just depends on more. Like I don't think you necessarily need a controversy to be good. I agree there isn't, but you know, maybe just a peek behind the scenes of how the team like operated and everything. But also, the controversy is probably more from the Blues. That's probably
okay,
more,
so
it's just
don't just
covering
mean
the whole, not
covering
just
both.
Queensland, but just like that whole period where like the Blues are literally changing halves every 5 minutes.
The only thing I have with that is like, if I'm putting that together, I'm going like, okay, where's the, you know, the lead up, and then something really bad happens, and then the glorious triumph. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I would
Fair.
like to do like 1997
The-
from like the Johns brothers perspective.
Yeah.
Yes, or even the Super League War.
Super League War would be, if you could
That'd
go
be sick.
all holes,
Yeah.
because the amount of
You could do
shady
both.
backdoor deals,
Yes.
and that has everything involved of like triumph, devastation, people leave, like it has fucking everything.
Yeah.
And then, you know, NRL wins in the end. So
Yes.
you've got that ultimate victory, you know, you think Super League's going to win, all that kind of stuff. So I think Super League would be sick.
Same thing with South getting the arse.
I think they're doing something on Rabbitohs social media to...
Yeah, they've interviewed people like Mike Whitney and all the people that were involved, and they're Craig Wing.
But you
and putting-
saw off the back of the Last Dance with Michael Jordan, like all that old footage they had made it. You
Yeah.
would need old
Yeah,
behind the
definitely.
scees footage.
Yeah.
If it was just interviews, I think it'd lack a little bit, to be honest.
As in the Rabbitohs one?
Like,
Just any
well,
of
with the
those
Rabbitohs,
ones.
they'd have a lot of old footage because it was on the news all the time. But you know, like 1997, you know, following Joey around and shit, that would be sick. I doubt they've got footage of that.
You could
like
also
to watch
do-
him on his
Yeah,
bender.
yeah, true.
What about if you did Manly when we became the Northern Eagles and then thank Christ just shook it off and then came back and won fucking multiple premierships,
Multiple.
multiples.
Yeah,
You know.
I have no interest in that, honestly.
But like the one you got up there in terms of like Notorious, which was a sick doco, but what worked about that, to your point, was that it had heaps of old footage, right? Like he was filming himself
Yeah.
the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think that he was just doing that before he was who he was.
Yeah. No, I agree. You've really got to have the footage. Like, there's nothing. You don't want just talking heads sitting there talking
Nah,
about
it's
it.
not the
Yeah,
same.
it's
Then
not
you
the
feel
same.
like you're at the pub and some old bloke's just spinning a yarn. You're like, all right,
Yeah.
I get it.
I get it. So I thought of some great docos that I think would be fucking really good.
Okay.
Obviously better than Lego. That's obviously a doco we would like to see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Barbecue at Vorney's. Great
Ooh,
doco.
yeah, I'd do that.
Toddy, Tales from the Trough. I think that'd be good. Piercy, Man's Best Friend. I think that'd be good.
Yep.
Fafita, A Night in Bali.
Ooh.
Nelson, Rumble in the Jungle.
Yep.
Arrow, Those Hips Don't Lie.
Yep.
Cleary, Save the Last Dance.
Ooh, okay.
Dukes and Fergie, Cruise Control. Hopawadi, A Finger Licking Good Time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And Joel Monahan, The Doghouse. I think that'd be great.
I think they're fantastic, all of them. Every single one.
Yeah, they're great.
That's for the real punter and the real dribble.
Well, that's rugby league, though, to the
If you
core.
sit down on a Monday night with your popcorn and your cold bloke to watch the Joel Monahan fucking Doghouse documentary, you are a dribbler.
You're an absolute dribbler.
You are a dribbler.
And you should be ashamed of yourself. But also, you are one of us.
Yeah, you know,
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Would,
that
it,
you're
would,
willing
the,
to-
would the documentary involve raw footage?
I mean, we'd have to clear a few things with our lawyers.
Yeah, look, we can blur out the dog's eyes, you know.
Yeah. Just break it down a bit.
Yeah,
settle
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Blur it down.
Yeah.
Be a bit subtle about it. Have a bit of class.
Yeah, a bit of class. Blur the eyes. Blur the eyes. Don't blow the mouth of the peanut butter.
I mean, I don't want to fucking ruin the dog's fucking reputation.
No, well, that dog's
Well,
got
the
a-
dog was never named or shamed.
Thank God.
Thank God. Well, I
Dog's
think the
got a family to
RSPCA
go
had a
home
fair bit to do with that.
If the dog's name did get out there, how would it ever find another bloody owner?
It wouldn't find another
No,
owner,
you
mate.
wouldn't be letting that dog lick your face, would
It's
you?
sullied. Well, it'd be sullied, wouldn't it?
But to be honest, though, I think a lot of punter and dribbler would love to own the dog that was a part of the Doghouse.
Well, if you're a
documentary.
Raiders fan, you would. That's a Raiders fan's thing to do, like
Yeah,
a Canberra
yeah.
Raiders fan. Yeah, I own Joel
Come down to
Monahan's
my
old
man
dog.
cave. What's that? It's Joel Monahan's old dog.
Yeah, and then when it dies, you get it taxidermised or whatever, and it's just sort of there
from
in statue.
Doghouse Mad Monday fame.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It's just hanging on the wall, embalmed,
With its tongue hanging out.
covered in peanut butter. That's original, mate.
Could you imagine if like a peanut
What do you
butter
reckon
company?
you'd get for that?
Arrested.
Okay, on to some real footy chat. Papenhuyzen returns for the Storm. Now, really interesting yarn we had with Finchy the other day on the podcast. What's crazy is, would you even start him back at fullback?
No.
With Nico Hynes absolutely throbbing at the moment.
No.
I wouldn't.
Crazy. And he was, again, I don't agree with it, but he was actually being touted as putting pressure on Tedesco's spot. I didn't agree with the shit. I thought it was a crazy chat.
Yes.
But the chat was there. It existed.
He was just in good enough form for dribblers to mention that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It's exactly. It's it's sort of in the realms of possibility, so we'll put it in the paper.
Yeah,
but never in a million years. Tedesco's a fucking skipper. But I don't think I would replace Nico Hynes with Papenhuyzen at the moment.
Yeah,
Nico
and I think a few weeks ago you said that.
I was like, why?
Yeah.
I was just like,
We
but
both
also,
said it.
Yeah, and
Nico,
I disagreed. I was like, nah, Papenhuyzen's Australian, but I'm with yous now. I'm with yous.
He's got a different element to his game, and I think it was because we were saying, well, like, Papenhuyzen, Husen, right? Is that how it's?
Honestly, I say it wrong every time. So
Yeah, okay.
But I disrespect him so many times.
Yeah,
it's
well,
just like,
he's
whatever.
got to deal with it now with the greatest respect and disrespect. But he won the Clive Churchill last year in the grand final.
Won the Clive,
yeah.
He's a big game player, but fucking Hynes, he's got a bit more of a ball playing element to his game as well as being hot, as well as being a fucking throbber.
No, Papenhuyzen's hot as well.
He's hot as well,
Yeah.
but he doesn't play the ball as well. That's the only extra
Nico's
string
my
to the
cup
bow.
of tea, though.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You like the
Personally.
kind of like the point break kind of surfy look. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
In this instance, yes.
Yes.
Because you're from, you support Manly. Not really from there, but you support that.
Well,
which is
listen,
a
my
bit weird.
father grew up there, and so I've got roots
Yeah, but
in
where were you born?
I was born in Bowral.
Oh, okay.
So you're telling me if you're from a country town, you're allowed to support anyone?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, you're only allowed to support where you're from.
You go for the Broncos, you're born on the Gold Coast.
I was born in Brisbane.
You're born on the Gold Coast.
You're from the Gold Coast.
I was born in Brisbane.
You're from the Gold Coast.
But I mean, I've got an out of jail card. I played for them. That's why I support them.
You also play for the Warriors.
So
But I played more footy. I played more footy.
People from the country not allowed to support the game?
No, of course not. They're not allowed to.
Anti-country.
If you cared enough, you'd get your own NRL team and you'd put in there.
Oh, we've tried. The Dubbo Dingoes, mate.
Dubbo Dingoes, that would kill it. The Dubbo
Fucking
Dingo.
going to kill it, mate. Apex Oval, they'd rip and tear out there.
Mate, but could you imagine, like, you put it in a region, like, out the country, and you get, like, a billionaire backer or whatever. So you put it in a point where, like, 4 hours radius, there is all just country lads, you know what I mean? Or women as well. So that you could actually fill up a 15 to 20K stadium each week. I actually think it would go off if you had big enough backing to fucking...
If someone with deep pockets, maybe if I become a billionaire, I'd do it. Where you could money wasn't a fucking problem.
Yeah.
It'd be sick.
The only
to have a country New South Wales team.
Yeah, like essentially you could argue Townsville is country and maybe a few other things, but like country.
Yeah.
Like I think it would go off because so many people would have a genuine connection to it being the countryside.
Yeah.
Whereas like there's not really any other places that you could put a team where there's like that connection is as deep. Do you know what I mean? There is a connection of being country that is deeper than just one spot. You know what I mean? Like for example, Brisbane, they've got the Brisbane Broncos. You bring another team there. What connection to that team do you really have?
Yeah, well, you got to start again.
From
really.
where? Whereas if you come out and say this is the country team, I think there'd be heaps of country. Be like, finally, country rugby league is getting the respect it deserves.
But you could also say that if you are a rugby league fan and you are just from the country and your whole life you've been brought up to support the Bulldogs or whoever, they bring a team to the country. Do you abandon your fucking?
I think
team?
you just do both though.
Yeah,
I think a lot
it's
of them
something
would
to do as well in the country, right?
I think a lot of them would be like, it's kind of my duty to support it because we're finally getting a bit of fucking respect for how many good players we've given to the NRL.
You just disrespected the people of the country then, and now you're talking about respecting the country.
He's on board now.
But
now you suddenly
I don't give a fuck
wanna
though.
respect
That's the whole
country.
point. Fuck you, country people.
That's
No, but you've come around, which I respect.
Yeah.
So
Look,
now,
look, there's something true and
all eyes on the Dubbo Dingoes now, I think.
Yeah, all eyes on the Dubbo. I mean, is that the next expansion team, Dubbo Dingoes?
Well, the
Why
Brown
not?
Snakes are actually the Brisbane Brown Snakes. There is some momentum.
know
Jess.
what?
Yeah, but we will need an 18th side, and
Right.
maybe New Zealand hasn't done enough.
Maybe. You know, they have
Maybe it's New South
they've
Wales
essentially
country's
provided
time, mate.
some of the best athletes we've ever seen in New Zealand, but that's still not enough. Country of obviously, you know what? Someone sent me a picture, the Brisbane Brewers, and it had like a bloke in a bar jersey. And I was like, that's fucking cool as shit.
I don't mind that. It's not as
Brisbane
cool as the
Brewers.
Brown Snakes,
Not as
but
cool
it's
as
all
Brown
right.
Snakes.
Okay, fair
we can
enough.
still get you sponsoring the Brown Snakes, right? Like they're similar colours.
Well, I'm
You
on
have
board with the
brown.
Brewers now. I'm sorry, I can't give money to the fucking Brown Snakes if I'm on board with the Brewers now.
Okay, well then we're just going to have to wait. This is now a
That's
battle.
like,
this
mate,
is now a warring
you've almost
faction.
made yourself an early grave. Disrespecting the Brown Snakes like that. Fuck,
your own peril.
mate, you'll be walking through the bush one day and one will get you.
Yeah, you're not from the country. You don't understand what
You
it's
don't
like.
get it. You don't
understand
know.
bush smarts.
You don't know how to walk properly out the bush.
If I
mate.
lived on 5.5 acres, is that country or not?
I mean, it depends.
well,
if
it means
it's
you've
in
got.
Four
It means you've
clues,
got 5.5 acres.
No,
yeah,
I
in the
understand what it
country.
means, but does that qualify as a country if you've got a horse in your backyard
doesn't
and
qualify
all
as a
that kind of
farm,
stuff?
but
Okay.
it qualifies as your. If you live in the country, then
Because I'm having
you could be in
identity.
an
I'm
apartment
having
in the
identity
country.
issues. I'm not a city slicker, but you won't accept me as country. That's why I have hate for you.
Well, you definitely aren't from the country.
Oh, okay.
You're not a city slicker that was born in Brisbane and lived in the Gold Coast.
No, I wasn't born in Brisbane. That was a lie. I was born on the Gold Coast, and I grew up on acreage with a horse and all the fucking
How close are you to the Gold Coast?
about 15, 20,
No.
30 minutes inland.
30 minutes inland.
Yes.
You're closer to the country, but I wouldn't say you're in the country.
So you won't accept me. So that's why I hate you.
Well, it's not that we won't accept you, but you...
Where are you from 30 minutes inland?
Mudgebar.
Mudgebar.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds country. I don't know where it is, but it sounds country. But like 30 minutes inland from the coast in Sydney.
Look,
That's
I'm
why it's
not
hard for me to
Paddington.
identify.
I'm not from that part of the world. I'd need some officiating.
Yeah, we need to get out there with
I've
one of
never
those.
been to Mudgebar, so I don't know.
I'll
if
tell
I
you
can
what.
call it.
We'll bring in a map. I'll walk you through where we sit, and then you can qualify me whether I'm country or not
What's
country.
the thing that we use to measure Tommy's dick? The meter, what's it called? The meter measuring stick, and it clicks.
Come on, Trundle wheel.
Trundle wheel.
Trundle wheel.
We'll trundle wheel from the coast out to Mudgebar, and we'll sort of get a reading on how far you're out.
We're
Okay,
gonna need
sweet.
3 million clicks.
Yeah,
Okay, sweet.
there's a minimum click.
So we're going Papenhuyzen to 14, do you think?
Yep.
Okay, Harry Grant comes back. Where do you put Papenhuyzen? Whoa, the Clive Churchy. And he was playing unbelievable ball.
Where would you put him?
That's what I don't know. I don't know.
mean, if like, can he play on the fucking wing? I mean, really? Like, is that what you do?
Do you
Couple of
put
things.
Hynes in the centre? Oh, but they've got Smith's been doing really well. Olam's a fucking beast.
You don't drop Olam.
I don't think
you drop
so.
Smith if you're going to drop a centre, but like,
You probably don't because he's been going pretty well. It's crazy to think they've got Harry Grant, who is essentially Cameron Smith's heir, and the Clive Churchill, who was killing it, wasn't even in bad form, and they're struggling to find a spot for them in the team.
is it maybe just the reality though of like, yeah, he was in great form, but this is an unfortunate turn of events where you.
Yeah, but usually a player like that they like, let's say they win the Clive Churchill, then they're in solid form, they get injured, and then someone kills it, and you're like, okay, I get it. Whereas they were in red hot form.
Would you flick Ramus then?
I wouldn't flick him. I think
Sack him completely.
I think
You can't carry a second
no,
nine
I
and
know,
a fucking.
yeah. I know. It'll be look. I honestly don't know. That's why I asked the question, because it's such an interesting topic. You know, going forward, you probably keep Smith there because he's going to be at the club next year, whereas Nico isn't. Do you go Nico? Sorry. Do you go? Does Nico lose his spot because he's not going to be there next year, whereas Papenhuyzen is?
But surely the goal is Prams, so it's like you're a
yeah.
better fucking side with Nico in the team, and I guess if you can fit Paps in there also.
I don't hate Nico at centre. I'd try it out, see how he goes.
And then you just kind of go to. And maybe you put Remus to a wing, because their wingers have been good, don't get me wrong, like Adokar, and the other winger I think is Jennings. But those are the two newest guys, so you could kind of say, look, guys, when it comes to being here for longer, we've got our loyalty, because that's usually what happens usually.
Also, though, like just talent-wise, they're not as good as Nico Hynes or Papenhuyzen.
But they're good centre wing bodies.
Yes.
Like Jennings has been one of their most metres run, I think. I think Jennings has got their most metres runs in the outside back.
Do you do like, you know, in Origin's obviously different, but like you pick players, not positions necessarily, where you pick players out of position in Origin because you're just trying to get the best players in the team. Like, is Nico not going to be able to rip at centre?
I think he'll rip anywhere.
That's what I mean, right? Like, don't you just go, fuck it, we just want to get the best players in the side.
Like, it's hard, then you go to
Within
Smith or
reason.
Jennings and you're going, fuck, like, you've been playing good too and we're fucking killing it. Do we change
That's
anything?
footy though, isn't it? Like, you miss out
I
on...
don't know, man.
It's tough.
It's
well,
tough.
but I think the more you think about it, the more you nut it out. You can't, assuming Papenhuyzen comes back and his concussion's all good and he's playing good footy, you can't leave him out.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
to put him in reserve grade, can you imagine him running out in Q Cup? The Clive Churchill, like, fuck. Just crazy. It's incredible what they've done there at the Storm. Did you listen to my last podcast? Probably not.
I listened to probably 20, 25
Did you hear the meters fucking yarn that I've found out about? Okay,
No.
so people listening would have heard it, but I'll just go back over it quickly. So I was in Origin 1, I was like, fuck, that's crazy how many meters New South Wales made in the backs compared to their forwards. Their backs were like nearly double. Anyway, so I asked Matt to see if there's a correlation between outside back meters, how many meters they've made, and who's at the top of the comp. We went and got the top, so it was basically whoever had the most in the top 50 of meters made in outside backs, it went top 5, and it was basically top 5 exactly. So it
Really?
was Storm, Penrith, I'll just get up here real quick. Storm, Panthers, Eels, Manly, Roosters. And so what we did with Turbo and with Edwards is we just got their average and then put it out.
Yeah.
But anyone that had played 6 or less games, we just didn't add because like 6 or less.
Yep.
And so it literally panned out. And then you'd be like, well, that's an obvious answer. Go look at their forwards. I bet your forwards are the same. And it's not. Their forwards are Eels, Knights, Sharks, Manly, and Roosters. And Storm and Penrith are actually only got one player each in the top 50. So it shows you how much the game has changed, where you actually need to rely on your outside backs to make your meters.
And would that be like 6 again and shit, right? Is that like with the quick roll onto the 6 again? It's just like getting it to your quick boys.
100%. Getting your quick guys that get quick play the balls, because you don't need that heavy contact and that slow, grindy footy. So we went to Origin and we looked at the Origin numbers. Game 1 where you fucking towed us.
Did we?
Yes, 928 metres from 5 players in the outside backs compared.
Shit.
Whereas the only game where we got close to you, so in both game 1 and 2, your outside backs killed it and they had way more metres. The only game we got close to you was the only game where your outside backs and your forwards essentially ran for the same metres.
There you go.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
So now it is that your outside backs are actually your metre makers and your fucking forwards in the middle are your defenders, really.
Right. So they're just keeping the middle of the field tight.
Tight and good defence, tight, as many little, as little errors as you can get, and also solid meterage, but it doesn't have to be great. Like Penrith and Panthers, they've only got one each in the top 50.
Wow.
Crazy. Whereas like we grew up.
So why is it that backs can truck better nut, more high quality nut than they have in the past? Is the body shape changing? Is the defences more tired? Like why?
They're just quicker at getting up off the ground, up off the deck.
So it's better play the ball.
Yeah, quicker play the ball. So you're just speeding everything up. Whereas you get big forwards up there, like how many times do you see, for example, Clemmer? He chucks through heaps of meters, but when he gets put on his back or ground, it's a much slower process to get up. Yeah. Whereas backs are usually like boom, boom, straight up. And so it's crazy to see that, we grew up being taught forwards made the meters, back scored the tries. And it's just completely flipped on its head.
This might see the rise or the re-emergence of the nut trucker. Obviously, the nut trucker already in existence, but the nut trucker historically, doesn't get many meters, but just trucks nuts solidly. And now it's like just all about outside backs. You see the emergence of like your Blake Lawries of the world who 85, 90 meters a game, maybe over 100. Whereas everyone else is sort of ripping and tearing in the backs. Maybe it is the rise of the nut trucker.
The battlers are just get through it.
Yeah.
Rather than
guys
flaring.
roll the sleeves up.
Yeah, I like that. I'm always going to be the biggest supporter of the nut trucker in the room.
Absolutely.
They're the heart and soul of rugby league football.
They are. But also, could we see maybe the end of the nut trucker? Because if we don't have any value for them to get through the meters, because the backs are.
Nut truckers don't get through much meters. They just truck nut.
Yeah, okay.
So like they'll get some meters, but they're not blowing your
So
hair
this could be
off.
the end of the flashy forwards then?
Correct.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, I guess that's a sad day for flashy forwards and a beautiful day for the guys that have been battling for so long.
The nut trucker will never leave the game, or the punter and the dribbler will turn the TVs off.
That's when the crowds leave.
Yeah. Rugby league dies when the nut trucker dies.
100%.
What do you think about Tavita Pangai Jr. to the Bulldogs?
I mean, finally a forward being signed. We did see in the news today they've re-signed 2 outside backs, which is great. The Doggies.
Great.
I think this is their first signing up front since Dylan Napa.
Yeah,
perhaps?
I think this might be their first forward signing in about 14
Would you
years.
play him on the edge or up front with like a Hetherington and Thompson?
I mean, that's a bit more X's and O's for me, where I'd just be lying to the audience. And
Look,
go,
we'll provide the dribble and the yarn, if you don't mind.
not the nuanced rugby league opinion.
Listen, gentlemen, I'm fucking crunching numbers, and this is what I'll be doing.
Oh, fuck. Apologies.
No, that's all right,
Mate,
mate.
that's fine.
No. Just be better next time.
Yeah, just pat us on the back for being honest about our...
I think you probably play on the edge, and then you've got Adam Elliott, Josh Jackson still there. Then you've got Raymond as well. So this is the potential team at the Doggies next year.
Sure
Matt Dufty, Josh Andakar, Brett Naden, Nick Kotrick, Tui Katoa, Matt Burton, Jake Averillo, Luke Thompson, Marshall King, Paul Vaughan potentially. They should absolutely be going for Paul Vaughan.
100%.
1,000,000%. Like, yes, what he did was stupid, but it's not like some crazy cultural... You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't. Yeah. He's not a player that's like poisoning the culture.
No.
Fuck it. He fucked up. Get over it. It's all good. Play
100%.
on.
I reckon Paul Vaughan would be a great, like, so good for them. And if you add Paul Vaughan into that with Tavita, fuck. So their forward pack would be Luke Thompson, Marshall King, Vaughan, Raymond Fatala Mariner, Tavita Pangai Jr., Josh Jackson. And that doesn't include Adam Elliott coming off the bench, Jack Hetherington. Mm-hmm. And then
Napa, if he's still there. Is he going to still be there, or is his contract up this year?
Who's that? Napa as well. That's a good forward. That's a much better side than this year. What do you think about that side?
That's as you said, a much better side. That's a very good side.
That gives Trent something to fucking work with, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Gus Gould sitting there.
Would you have concerns around Averillo at 7?
I'm surprised they continue to to play him at 7. I think he's a 6, to be honest. I'd even go Burton at 7, him at 6.
That's Flanagan.
Well, I thought initially, if you had asked me 6 weeks ago,
Crazy.
I would have gone Flanagan, Burton, and then I would have gone Averillo in the centres. You've got to have Averillo there. He's been their best player all year, literally. Probably Luke Thompson, but he's been one of their best. But yeah, I agree. It's very surprising. He doesn't seem like a 7. Does he seem like a 7 to you guys?
No, he doesn't. But Burton doesn't seem like a 7, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Which is, it's.
What about Tavita? Could he play 7?
Ask the manager. He'll probably say, yeah. League tomorrow. Tavita playing 7 for the Bulldogs.
But it feels like they might be like an elite half away from.
Well, I thought Flanagan was there. What do you guys think's going on with the Flanagan
I
situation?
don't have any fucking idea.
The only thing I heard, and obviously it's who the fuck knows where I'm hearing anything, but was that he's got a bad attitude.
Yeah, I don't think
wrong.
it's a bad attitude, just hard to work with.
But
What's the difference?
It rubs
right?
against.
Hard to work with.
Well, bad attitude is I don't train hard. I'm rat's ass. Hard to work with is I think I know more than I know.
Yeah,
and it's my
I'd say
way.
I would still call that bad attitude, though, right? Like, I mean, it's a 2 of one, half a dozen the other.
But it's just it
it
rubs with that interview he did where he's in tears, he's getting dropped. It's like it obviously means so much to him.
Yeah, but
Surely
you don't get fucking given the arse from the Roosters unless there's something, because it wasn't just about form. He was playing all right. Like,
But I'm saying that if attitude is the problem, for example, surely the situations that he's been in off the back of getting sacked from the Roosters and this year getting fucking dropped, surely that's the wake-up call.
Well,
to
it
spark
either
you
is
into
a
action
wake-up call
if
or
it's an
it isn't.
attitude problem.
Well, that's the thing. It's this fine line. Like, you need your Haas to have a sense of, like, I know my way is the right way. You know, you need some sense of that. Like, even DC, he's obviously nowhere near, Flanagan. Like, he's not even close. But he is very like, I'm the team leader. I'm doing it the way I want to do it. And that's what you want. Like, that's a good thing. But there's such a fine line between that and
being a pain in the ass.
Refusing to, not pain in the ass, but like refusing to do what the coach says and, thinking you see things that, may not be seen,
I think it's also a little bit concerning that Trent Barrett, ex-half, who was like, as the attack coach at fucking Penrith, supposedly got him humming, can't seem to get much out of him.
Yeah, definitely. It's surprising. It's so surprising. I thought he would be so good. It's not like he's going to set the world alight, but I just thought he would be so good at just a solid foundational half. And what I'm not understanding is, like, Jake Averillo, it's not like Jake Averillo is this young, throbbing half that has come through. Yeah. And that's why it seems like it's an active choice by Barrett to say, no, I just don't have him in my starting side. Yeah. Not for form, not for potential or just talent. He's just choosing to, you know what I mean? It just seems like I feel, look, if Flanagan hasn't done anything wrong, I feel sorry for him. He's landed at 2 places that he's been unfairly struggled, I guess, not maligned, but...
but maybe it's just that rugby league yarn of he's like highly touted player, a junior, and he just hasn't kicked.
Well, a perfect example, and he'll admit this, is a guy like Jackson Hastings. The first 5 years of his career, he struggled, and it wasn't like a bad attitude of he wouldn't train or everything, but he just struggled to connect. And I'm not saying Flanagan's like that. Like, I've had conversations with Flanagan. He seems like a really nice bloke. Like, no issues whatsoever. So I'm not saying... What I am saying is that sometimes you can have this really talented young guy that it just doesn't click for. He went away to Super League, and he came back. He came on the podcast, The Locker Room.
Man of Steel?
Man of Steel. Like, he's killing it over there. And he said on the podcast, he said, when I was young, I just thought that, like... It was my way. I thought I knew more than I knew. And again, I'm not saying that is happening with Flanagan, but sometimes when you get brought up as the gun half, it's very hard to go into an NRL system and realise that you actually,
you're the small fish again.
Yeah, you just got to shut your mouth and do your job. Again, let me be clear. This is not saying this is what Flanagan's like, but there's clearly something going on there, whatever it is.
Where's Shane going?
You know what? Shane Flanagan's commentary is some of the best commentary in the game. Have you listened to him on Fox?
Yeah.
He's a gun. Like, you don't...
He gets hate as well. You see hate online, fucking... And that's not to go against what you're saying, but I've noticed, and I also found it with Anthony Griffin when he commentated,
They're both guns.
They were both really good, but then people are like, get this fucking shit out of here. Like, you're getting actually like quite good coaching coaches inside.
Which I like that
as a point of difference.
Instead of like ex-players, which is fucking 90% of it, right?
See, I love it because I'm sitting there going, yeah, he's 100% right. Like, he's actually speaking to the fan and letting them know, like, this is what's happening. Whereas a lot of the ex-players, it's Don't get me wrong. A lot of the ex-players, like the first couple of years, they struggle, as you would. It's a whole new fucking gig. And then they get much better. But yes, some ex-players, and they've moved on since. I like most of the ex-players at the moment. Some ex-players, like, you're just like, bruh, give me something. And he's kicked the ball. I just think their completions needs to get up, boys. And
you just got to make your tackles and
just take control of the middle third.
Make your tackles and complete your sets.
It's a sunny day here, guys. Packed crowd. Can't wait for the kickoff. Going to be a few tries, and whoever scores the most points wins.
Yeah.
Great day for rugby league.
He's a footballer, this kid. What the fuck's that, mate?
Well, he's a footballer.
He's a footballer. Or
He plays football.
He's an out-and-out footballer, this kid.
Well, we're going to see it in his hand, mate.
Yeah. He's a footballer. No, he's a footballer.
That's football. No.
Footballer.
But my point about Shane Flanagan is he, like, are there rumours around where he might land? I heard Newcastle.
Tigers. I heard
potentially.
Tigers.
You heard Tigers?
Michael Pride of About Even fame, he is a Knights fan, obviously, but he's almost certain that
He's like
Adam O'Brien's
convinced.
going to get the arse.
No, you got to.
Flanagan's going to be the coach at the Knights.
You've got to stick with a coach, I reckon. Like, there is not enough coaches to just start sucking coaches. And when has it ever really helped? Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's never helped.
Like, really?
Well, look, I mean, it has helped. Like when you say they fucked off Anthony Griffin.
Outside of
That's true.
Anthony Griffin for Cleary at the Panthers worked.
Well, not the first year. Not the first year. And they were coming fourth when he got
coming
sacked.
back worked.
Des coming back to Manly.
But he's a super coach.
Thank you for saying that. That's really nice.
No, when he got sacked with the Bulldogs, the campaign to discredit him took him out of the super coach discussion.
Yes.
He's a super coach.
And we got him for bargain basement prices.
Look, whether you agree or disagree with what happened to the Bulldogs, I personally believe that, as you guys mentioned, the victors write write history. You know, and I believe that.
So the victor goes the spoil.
Yeah, victor goes the spoils. But they whoever wins writes what happens.
Yes.
And so, like, them getting rid of Desi, all of the articles, they're going to be coming from the Bulldogs. So it's going to be to protect their image of what happened. You're not going to tell the truth of what happened, because then you might make you look bad and you lose your job or whatever. Again, I don't know what happened, but I just think that the proof's in the pudding. Desi went to the Manly side, and as I said a few weeks ago, when he left the Doggies and joined Manly, the Doggies were sitting like 11th or 12th. Manly was sitting 15th. He literally 2 weeks ago took that Manly side and beat them 66-0 or whatever. Now, granted, they had some players out, but
not many.
No.
Yeah, but Manly are now a premiership threat, and the team that he was sacked from, that were in a better position than Manly were, with more resources, more training facilities,
more money,
are coming last. So how can you, regardless of whether you long-term contracts, this, that, whatever, how can you say that's a win? Like, how can you possibly say that's a win?
And as you're noticing, if you are following along Manly as closely as Eddy and myself, all the players starting to re-sign. We're building the band back together. Everyone's taking unders, and they're all signing for probably back-ended deals again. But fuck it, back-end the shit out of it.
This back-ended narrative, it really grew in with Bulldogs. And this is the dirty reality of rugby league. Back-ended deals are used for, we'll get you playing in your good years, and then when you start playing shit, we'll put so much pressure on you, you don't get that deal. That's what's so good from a club's perspective about back-ended deals. Like, it's a
dirty game.
It's a dirty game.
So you mean like we'll pay you $500,000, or we'll pay you, like, let's just say we'll pay you unders there for 2 years, and then the third and fourth we're gonna pay you, twice as much. But by those like second, like third and fourth years, if you're playing shit, it's like, bruh, you're not really worth it.
Yeah, and we'll just make your life help. Tavita Pangai Jr., Matt Lodge, Jack Bird.
But how does that work from a contract perspective, right? So if I've contracted, so I'm assured those dollars. Aren't you then like legally assured that money?
You're legally assured to the extent that you pressure to get it. So, for example, if my life is shit and I'm so unhappy and I'm not playing NRL and the club is openly saying, we don't want you here, like, to your face, leave. And this happens. Like, I promise you this happens. Clubs will go to players and say, you need to leave. You need to get out of here. I mean, I was on nothing and I rang up. So basically, I wasn't playing first grade. And I was on fuck all, and I was working another job because I was struggling to pay rent, even though I was supposed to be playing first grade. And so, that's a mixture of both things. Like, so I was on 40K with no match payments, and so I just got a mortgage and everything like that. So I was pouring beers and training full time just to stay at the Broncos. And basically, what happened was I rang the player manager and I said, I want to stay, because there were certain things that were agreed to that they didn't come through with. It's whatever. It's just the way rugby league is. I rang them and said, don't worry about those things. I just want a fair crack. They just said to me straight on the phone, you need to take the other deal. I think it's best that you leave.
Are they being friendly when they're saying this to you at all?
Yeah, well,
is there like a bedside manner?
Well, they couch it in like, I'm looking out what's best for you. Like, you're not going to get a crack here. You need to go somewhere else. So I was like, are you sure? I don't care about anything that's agreed to. I just want a fair chance of playing first grade. He's like, you should go, and because there was a contract offer from the Melbourne Rebels. He's like, you should go and go down there and do the medical, because I strongly suggest you should. So I went down there, did the medical. I came back. More went on, but I won't get into that. That next day when I came back, and I went down there on my day off. The next day when I came back, I was on the way into training.
So Melbourne Rebels Rugby Union.
Rugby Union, yep. Yeah. And I don't know why. I just got bad advice, and I was like so loyal to the Broncos that I didn't want to play against them after I went to the Warriors. It didn't work out, blah, whatever. Just a dumb young fucking idiot. And so on the way to training the next morning, I get a call saying, don't come into training. We don't feel like you're committed to the club. Go back to Q Cup.
Oh.
Wow.
Because they
That
told you to
happens.
fucking go and like they just fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so sneaky. How old were you at
Sneaky,
then?
that's
About 20,
sly as
23,
fuck.
24, 23.
Mate, hoodwinked.
You were fucking hoodwinked with an inch of your life.
Fucking welcome to
How
big
did you
world,
react?
bro.
Again, maybe I'm like, we don't need to go into
Oh,
it.
I was
like,
devastated.
But like when they say that to you, were you like, what the fuck are you talking about?
But it's
Were you
not-
fucking raging?
No, but it's not in a vacuum. Like, it's been building to that for 3 to 4 months. You know what I mean? So like, you already know they don't want you.
Yeah, but you've said to them, you'll do this, that,
But then
the
what?
other.
Okay, you told me to go. Rah rah.
No,
Then
I
what?
understand that. I just mean from.
Oh, I
like
was absolutely
and
devastated.
Intrinsically, like you feel the need to defend yourself in that moment.
Yeah.
Like I don't mean where you actually necessarily try and make it a thing where they
No,
change their mind, but like where you go, motherfucker, how dare you? I
You're
told
in this.
you.
You're in this weird spot where like you're still contracted to them. So if you want to get the release to go to this new place, you know what I mean. There's so much still going on. And at that point, I thought I was still going to get that deal.
Yeah, right.
And then I didn't. The deal fell through because they did something they shouldn't have done. Broncos did something they shouldn't have done. So I lost the deal anyway. So I was stuck in reserve grade.
You still go for this fucking bunch of assholes.
Yeah, but as just people that aren't there anymore.
No, I know.
Stuck in reserve grade, no deal.
Stuck in reserve grade with no deal to go to. It was crazy.
That's
crazy.
fucked.
So there you fucking go. I don't know why.
See,
how did we get to that?
I just wouldn't
We're
mind
just talking
that
about
sort of
pressuring
like,
players out of back-ended deals and that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just think there's an interesting potentially, like we were talking about documentaries and shit, but like players talking about how they were fucked over. Like you don't necessarily need to name and shame clubs, although I think that makes it way better. But like, you know, hearing the stories because
you'd want full transparency, Tom.
You don't really hear the players' yarn, right? Like. Or if you do, it's like, oh, that's not true. Like, you know, I think it was something that happened with Fafita a couple of years ago and like the Bulldogs and what happened and when he was going to sign there and all that sort of shit. But like to hear the stories of players that have been fucked over in the way that like they're portrayed in one way, but the truth is different, I reckon that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's a small case. Like players get, again, don't get me wrong, players are not innocent. They do stupid shit all the time. Like it's not me sitting there going, oh, every single player ever has been fucked over. There's been plenty of players that have done the wrong thing as well, but clubs are always in the position of power. They're always in the position because they control a journalist or some journalists. They have the power to give access to them or take it away. So they control the narrative of what's happened. Yeah, like that's why whenever you see players going, fuck, you know, fans don't understand and then like they just don't see the shit that happens. And that's why back-ended deals are actually beneficial for the club. Cash now is more valuable than cash in 2 years.
Cash flow.
And so... yeah, the back end of deals, like they've happened since the beginning of time, and they'll continue to happen because, if anything, if you can pull it off, obviously, if you can't pull it off and you get put in a position of like the Broncos where you're struggling to offload them, puts you in a shit position. But like, yeah, you look at Jack Bird and Matt Lodge and Tavita Pangai Jr. These are all three guys that didn't want to leave the Broncos. Yet they all openly didn't want to leave.
Yeah,
but they got and yet you would sit there and go, well, aren't they entitled to that amount of money in that? But it's just the way it is. Like maybe they got close to that full amount, or maybe they were like, you know what, I'll take $100,000 pay cut because I just don't want to deal with this shit anymore. I don't want to be constantly at a place where I'm told I'm not wanted.
Yeah. He just want to play first grade.
How old would Jack Bird be now? Because
Like
he's been
26,
around for a minute. But like,
26?
he's not that old, right?
Nah, not that old
He's got
at
a
all.
lot of footy left in him,
Yeah.
and he's ripping.
And also,
ripping and a tearing.
Also, people don't understand that if you're not playing first grade, every week you're not in first grade, your value's dropping.
Yeah.
dropping. So, like, if let's say I'm in $1 million and they go, we're just going to put you in, like they did to Josh Mansell, even though he was on $1 million, we're going to put you in reserve grade for the whole season. By the end of that year,
Josh Mansell was on $1 million.
no, he wasn't on $1 million. But
I was going to say,
they said to Mansell, if you are, no matter what you do, you're not going to play first grade next year.
Yeah.
So let's say I play, like, I'm staying because I want to get paid that whole contract.
2 days after the fucking grand final.
Yeah, crazy. And let's say you stay for that whole season and play reserve grade, or 2 seasons. Let's say you've got 2 seasons. By the end of that, or middle of that the second season, you're worth fucking nothing because you've been playing reserve grade. So clubs aren't going to be lining up to sign you on big deals. You've been playing reserve grade.
Yeah.
So that's also a way where they just keep driving your value down, and then before you know it. So you actually have a financial incentive to go when they tell you to go, because the longer you stay in reserve grade. Like, put it this way, let's say Milford was struggling, but he was still playing first grade. He'd be worth more than he is right now sitting in reserve grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how it happens.
Food for thought.
Yeah.
Mate,
Food for thought.
they'll fuck you. Be careful.
Yeah, I mean, it's like any big business. People would have dealt with this kind of shit at work as well.
But I wonder, though, whether it's as brazen. Because there's like, I feel like there'd be some sort of HR shit that probably just doesn't even exist in rugby league. Or it probably would, but, you know, like workplace relation. Like if you're able to like prove these people are just fucking you, like being told you will not be picked in first grade no matter what, to me seems like the most ridiculous fucking, like that seems like a breach of some sort of like right as an employee.
But you just can't, if you kick up a stink in the media, what other club's going to want you? Because they're like, fuck.
I know.
If we don't treat him perfectly,
then he's going to fuck us.
He's going to fuck us too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's much more cutthroat than people realise, and there's so much more that goes on. And usually, the stories you're reading are being leaked or released from the people that want you to think a certain thing. You know, like they're being released from the club or from a player manager or whatever to make you think, to make them look better. They're never released to do a fair, true story of what happened. So anyway, the Milford linked.
Parramatta have come out and revealed that Mitch Moses suffered a minor back fracture in Origin 3. He's out indefinitely. There's no real timeline on when he's going to be back, but they said he'll hopefully be back in a few weeks, depending on if it settles down.
Holy shit.
But they've said it's not as bad as it sounds, similar to bone bruising, but yeah, out indefinitely.
A minor back fracture.
Wow. Wonder when
It
he
doesn't
suffered
sound great.
No,
Not
it
at all.
doesn't sound
Back
good.
fracture.
And I mean, like you can soften that with a minor before saying it, but a back fracture sounds
Fucking hell.
fucked.
A fracture's still a fracture.
Yeah.
It is
In the back.
in the back.
The Gary Jack. Jesus. I mean, that's
Whereabouts in the back? Do we know?
Nah, they've just put out a press release and just said minor back.
very vague. I wonder
Yeah.
when he
Backs
did it.
are long.
That's fucking.
They are long.
They're not short, Tom.
No, back's the longest part of your body potentially.
Well,
Well, not
depends.
Tommy's
Tommy
body.
Turbo's not.
No,
but-
no, that's true.
Yeah. No, mere mortals usually.
Mortal, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Tommy.
That's right.
Well, I wonder when he did it to play with a fractured back in Origin. You know, he's not going to get raps as being tough. He'll be, you know what I mean? Like half's always go, he's soft, he's this, that. It's like,
No, he
play with a
played
fractured
on. Played
back.
with a fractured back, bro.
Xavier
Tried to do
Savage
that.
also out for the rest of the season. Played with
No.
he fucking did his shoulder. Needs a full shoulder, Rico. And he was like
was
literally
fucking-
running around like that. And they're like, it's so tough. And I'm like, get him off. You've won the game. He's a young player. He's not vital right now. And it's like, fuck, they just kept him on there. I was like, I get Ricky's trying to like,
Yeah, toughen up, pussy.
He's trying to like teach him something. But I'm sitting there going, bro, like there's nothing to be taught here. He's
No
clearly
pain, no
busted.
gain, bruh.
What do you, I mean, obviously, do you think that affects their premiership chances?
Yes, I think it
Obviously,
does.
you didn't think
Well, they were never going to win it.
Well,
Phil
but,
Gould said as much on 100% footy last night, and I was loving it. He was just like, yeah, good on you. Beat the shit teams, but you're not doing anything different to compete with the... Who's talking about Melbourne and Penrith? He was just like, there's just nothing
I
in...
I don't get that chat from Gould though, because it's like,
Have you seen anything that they do, though, that you really see the way
no,
they
but
play
it's
and go,
about
they can
building
beat fucking-
towards that. It's like it does. You don't just go year on year and everything happens in a vacuum. Like,
But they couldn't do it. I don't think they're any closer
yeah, but
to
they're
doing
getting.
it.
You're telling me this Penrith side this year isn't better than last year. You're telling me like
Penrith?
Sorry,
Or Parramatta?
You don't think they're better than last year?
They seem to be just the same.
Papali'i, great signing.
He's a great... I'm not saying he's not a good signing, but maybe it's in relation to the top two teams. I don't think they're any closer to Melbourne and Penrith.
I think they're slightly closer, but it's about building. You've got to remember, guys, they won 2 wooden spoons in the last decade. They've gone from wooden spoon to like 15th, whatever, to a strong top 4 side. They can recruit essentially whoever. Like it's about building towards it. And that's what I'm not understanding. Like when Gus says, "Oh, great, you're not doing anything different." Like I get what he's saying is true, but like even Penrith, when they were building towards what they are now, they also were in the same situation that Penrith.
But I think what Gus was saying though was like for them, what they need to do to be competing. So like. He was what you're saying is like what he was saying was true in that they aren't currently doing the things required to beat the top 2 teams. But if they want to beat the top 2 teams, then these are the things that need to change.
Yeah, I think they need a strike outside back, like a strike weapon centre.
Yeah,
and then I think they're set. Like that's honestly the only thing I really think they're missing. Like Mitchell Moses is still only 25, 26. Dylan Brown is only 20, I think. Reid Marnie's only 20. Reid Marnie's getting better. Dylan Brown's getting better.
Dylan Brown 20.
Yeah, he's 2021.
Good Lord.
21 max. 21 max. They actually have the youngest spine in the comp.
Look, they certainly have like the nucleus of a very good team and an improving team. I just don't see them winning a premiership before the sun dies.
Okay.
That's all he's saying.
Okay, fair enough.
And Moses out of the fractured back doesn't help that.
No, it does not.
There's only 3 teams who can win the comp this year. We all know who they are.
I reckon Rabbitohs are such a dark horse because it's just like they're so fucking unpredictable.
They are.
It's almost torture. Like if you're an opposing team, you don't know what's going to turn up.
But they don't turn up against the good sides.
Or if you're a Souths fan, like seeing the first 20 minutes against the
They've
Dogs.
been nearly killed, and taken the heart out of the bunny against Melbourne and against Penrith. Like, that's you put a fucking line through them.
But do you think that the 50 doesn't mean what it used to mean though?
They're not going to turn that around.
The thing is, the 50
No
was
way.
against the top 2 teams. So it's like...
But in saying that, against Melbourne in round 1, it was like 26-18 or whatever.
Yeah, that was round 1.
People are finding their feet in round one. Who gives a shit
they're
about
both
round
2,
one?
3 and 4. People are finding their feet.
First 4
until,
rounds
round
don't
5.
count. We've said that all season.
That has nothing to do with suiting your narrative of Manly or anything like that, does it?
No, it's what I've always said, Dennis, and I will continue to say that first 4 rounds do not count. You shouldn't be able. I don't think you should be awarded points. That's not.
So just say preseason games, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay, so Moses out, huge. Like that's a massive
That is a
blow
big out.
to Eels.
Affects my bets this week.
Yes, it does.
Well, they did win without Moses on the weekend.
it's not a bad
I had him
point.
13 plus, so I might revise that.
Okay, now Milford linked with the Eels. Also, 3 other clubs apparently interested. Do you think that I think that the only option for him is either a strong NRL club or Super League. I don't think going to another struggling club is a good idea. You think
don't
Super
wanna-
League, that's
no,
it?
No. I'm agreeing with you that you don't
Yeah.
go to like the Dogs or the
No,
Tigers or
nope.
something and try and like...
Oh, fuck. Oh,
That's a recipe for disaster.
mental health. Talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
No.
Yeah, I don't think that's a great
You go to the Storm or the Roosters and then be done with it.
You don't want to
And just
live
like-
on. You don't want to have spent 5 years on the back foot, or however long it's been.
No.
3 years on the back foot, and
Dude.
then go another 3 years on the back foot.
That'd be a fucking nightmare.
It's like, even if he signed
That's a
on...
good chunk of your life living on the back foot, Tom.
No, dude, that's hard.
You don't want to do that.
Mate, that's... Even if he signs for like 200-300K, he's still going to be the main focus of why they won or lost.
Oh, yeah. I hear Man of Steel are ringing.
I think he'd look good in a bloody Hull
He would
Kingston Rovers or
absolutely
some shit.
fucking tear this. If he got
St.
fit,
Helens,
if he was fit and healthy and he
Warrington.
didn't let himself go, he would absolutely tear the Super League
Why
apart.
wouldn't you want to go over there and rip and tear?
Well, England's fucking not the
To
best
win a
place
Man
to
of
live.
Steel, baby.
Just go and like dominate beaters for a year or two. It's
good for the style, dominating
You come
beaters.
back, you
Just
dominate
dominate.
2 Man of Steels. Many a beater dominated, and then you come back and you go sign with the Roosters or the Storm.
Do the Jamie Lyon.
Exactly, the Jamie Lyon.
Well, I think with Nico Hines leaving, and let's say you put Cheese at 13, let's say Dale Finucane leaves as well, he could be 14 for the Storm.
Imagine
How
that.
old is Milford?
26.
27. I
Seven.
think he just turned 27 this
He
year.
could go win a couple of Man of Steels, get his confidence back, pound beaters into the earth, come back an alpha, come back a winner, and, Milford 2.0. What do you
I mean,
reckon?
I could see that, like go and get confidence and then come back, like so go for 2 years and come back at 29 years old.
Pumps and beaters.
Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely.
beaters.
Yeah, I mean, he could do that as well. You go, I'm not confident enough to call the entire Super League beaters, but
I am.
Look,
I am.
everyone's well, I mean, you got the great Johnny Bateman over there. He's not a beater.
Yeah,
he's fucking
he's
came and
pounding
fucked.
beaters
mate,
as well,
we're
probably.
not saying that they're all beaters, but 99% of them are.
I think that's a bit
Fucking
harsh.
hell. I don't think so.
I think 20%. 20%.
20%.
20%?
Like 20% of,
Mate.
20% of struggle. Then you got about whatever, 50%.
98%. I'll settle on
50% have a dig.
There's 2% that could cut it in the NRL. The rest
50% have a dig, and
pound
then
it into the
20% could cut it in the
It's not that they
NRL.
don't have a dig.
Oh,
It's just that
well,
they're beaters.
I'm not sitting here arguing their heart.
Okay.
No.
I'm arguing their talent. Which is none.
Okay.
Now, Milford, win a couple of man of steals, come back a better man. To our points throughout this entire segment, if he goes to the Tigers, it may well fucking be the end of him.
Honestly,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, do not go to a struggling club.
Fuck that.
Oh, fuck.
No one needs that. He doesn't need that. The
No.
Tigers don't need that.
Well,
Tigers fans don't need that.
He does. Well, he doesn't need it because it's just like the Tigers already are where they are. He's just coming in and they're loaning out the misery to him.
Yes,
He'll be the
exactly.
one taking on the fucking debt.
Yeah. Hop on the sinking ship and then get blamed for the fact that
blamed
it's
for
sinking.
everything. So yeah, I reckon the Eels, Storm, Roosters could do with a 6. I know Lachie Lamb's really, really good, but you could give Lachie Lamb the first crack and then have Milford at 14.
Do you think that Anthony is Roosters material?
I
does he
actually think
fit
so.
that groove, do you think?
I think so.
I
'Cause
don't
he's
know
not-
much about the man.
He's not a dickhead. Like he's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't do stupid shit. He's
Yeah.
a really good guy. Like really good guy. It's not necessarily. I think he definitely could suit the Roosters.
because they go for a specific player.
Yeah, no,
generally.
I know what you mean, but I honestly think that. I mean, you got to remember, 2018 he was playing Origin. Won the
He's
player
got
of
it
the
in
year.
him. Like,
Fucking oath he's got it
yeah.
in him. I'm saying like the off-field stuff. Again, I don't
Yeah.
really know him. So
No, I think so. I don't, there's, he's not going to negatively impact the culture of a team, in my opinion. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he lands, and it's great. Like it's interesting to see like 4 clubs essentially apparently are interested, which would be coming from his manager. But it just shows you that like talent, like people will just pay for talent. Like no matter what's happened or whatever, he's so fucking talented that they'll pay for it. But Eels versus the Raiders, who you got?
Well, I did have the Eels pre-game, but pre the show. Moses out doesn't change it for me. I don't think. I still think the Eels have too many weapons in the duffel bag. Ferguson returns. Nice.
Fergie Ferg, the great Fergie
The
Ferg.
Fergie Ferg.
you know
mate.
what's annoying? Whatever I tip will be wrong because the
Well, 'cause
Raiders will
you've got-
fuck me.
the Raiders fuck you. Raiders always fuck
If
you.
I tip the Eels, the Raiders will beat them, and if
Yeah.
I tip the Raiders, they'll fuck me. So like whatever I say, I'm going to go the Eels,
Yeah.
and I'm going to take the Eels 1-12.
White out with the rib injury. Eels 13+.
White out. Moses, losing your 7's big.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
won on the weekend against the Titans, albeit. But the Raiders.
Yeah,
and
but the Titans stink. The Raiders got to have
Titans beat the Raiders.
the Raiders are playing better.
They are playing much better.
You can't trust the Raiders.
You
There's one
can't
thing you
fucking
can't
trust them.
the Raiders
Look, I
this
don't
year.
know. Eels will win. The Raiders will probably win now.
Yeah, Eels.
Although the Eels haven't lost games to shit teams all year.
they like to play losers.
And their forward pack is fucking strong.
Eels.
Big, strong.
Eels 13+.
There you go.
I'm going Eels 1-12. Eels 1-12. Savage out. Oh, actually, Savage and Whiten out. Fuck.
Is it
Going.
Savage?
It's Savage.
Is it Savage?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Savage, like the cologne.
I think it's Savage.
No, it's Savage.
Okay.
No, it's Savage.
Okay.
Savage.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's Savage.
Dude, you've got to look into these players' names. It's
Okay.
Savage.
Apologies. I think it's.
Mate, Tom and I are pretty meticulous around this sort of
Yeah.
thing.
It's Savage.
Pronunciation of names. And
Like
it's
the
Savage.
Australian wheelchair athlete, Louise Savage.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
She was a beast.
She was.
Do your own research, guys. I don't agree with that at all, and I think that's wrong.
We encourage you definitely to do your own research.
Dior.
Ferguson returns, the great Fergie Ferg. Junior Paulo, the big fella. White now with a rib injury. That does send alarm bells. Rapana to fullback.
Do you
Great winger.
reckon Ricky's give him a body shot?
Good body shot.
Potentially.
And it was just like one of those joking ones when you do when you're like in year 7
Yeah.
to your mates.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, but he caught him off guard.
Yeah.
Oh, just fucking dropped him.
I reckon Ricky does all that like young roughhousing stuff
Yeah,
to
he
his
corks
boys.
their thighs and shit.
Yeah.
Sack
Mate, you
whacks
take one
people.
look at him.
Flicks their ears and shit.
Yeah, he's got a fucking sack whack in him. You better believe it. He's one of the great sack whackers all time.
Yeah.
Sticky.
Fuck. He's
He's
so
killed,
annoying.
he's killed testes before.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Sperm counts.
You know
Yeah.
what? It's probably not even a rib injury. It's a fucking testy
He's been
injury.
sack
Well, in the last
That's
50
a smother. He's sack whacked.
in the last 50 years, Dior, but the numbers are pretty accurate. Sperm counts have gone down 50%.
in Canberra.
And I don't want to blame anyone, but if I had to blame someone, I'd blame Ricky.
Yeah.
because he's been sack-whacking blokes for the last 30 years.
Oh, I could just imagine-
a lot.
He's got a whip on him.
He's just like walking, like you're talking to your mates, and he's just the guy that walks up and goes, "Yeah, fucking bows!"
Yeah.
And then he's like, doing these ones.
Everyone's like, dude, he's fucking crying on the ground. You just hit him pretty hard.
"Dude,
there.
just punch that dude in the dick, and you're
What
like a
the
grown
fuck?
man."
He didn't mind a cork either, Ricky.
Yeah.
Oh, corks are fucking
Cork
so
in the
bad.
thigh.
Reckon he's a wet willy operator?
Yep.
Yeah. And he's got some big, thick fingers.
He would have
so
some
he'd
big country thick fingers.
Rough fingers. Chewed. I imagine the nails chewed to the stub, and it's just like
Calls it the wet
Oh,
Ricky.
well, I mean, chew to the stub after being a coach as well, the Rangers
Yeah,
this
you
year.
know what I mean?
His chink fingers chewed off.
Correct. So it's
You
just
literally,
all
he nubs
stub.
you with half a finger.
Yeah.
Like Angus Crichton.
He's like Angus Crichton,
Do you
basically.
reckon
Ricky
Angus
actually
Crichton
doesn't have fingers.
Do you reckon Angus Crichton has ever wet willy someone with his nub?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
I think definitely. And it would feel fucking weird.
There's
The
a great
wet Angus.
photo. I'll put it up of when Trbojevic scored in 2018 Origin in Melbourne, and Crichton just got his stub and rubbed him straight in the face.
Just
He
stubbed
stubbed
him.
Oh, fuck. Getting stubbed in
Rugby
Origin.
League stubbing.
That's a,
Can you stub your stub?
As in, like, on the ground, if you just had a stubbed
Does it
toe
hurt?
already. And
is
you
it like a
stubbed the
phantom?
stub.
Like, you know, when that's when
Well,
they,
no, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
so
you
like
can
if
stub
you-
a toe, you can stub a finger, I'm assuming.
Can you
Yeah.
stub a stub?
Can you stub a stub?
Well, you can. But there's, you know, it's just like...
well, I'd assume that the things that are further out would get stubbed before the stub.
Yeah,
It'd be a very
true, but it could be-
strange
you
angle
could-
to get the stubbing, you know?
It'd be hard to stub a
It'd be
stub. Is
hard
that what
to
you're
stub
saying?
a stub.
That's what I'm
Unless
saying.
you were completely stubbed.
Unless you it's all stubs.
Yeah, you were all stubs.
That would be difficult. But it'd be ironic.
Look, if mathematicians listening, can you let us know if you can actually stub a stub with the angles and the trajectory of a hand?
Well, where the word stub? If we call them stubs, where does stub come from?
That's true. Because like, and
wrapped
how
me
does
in a
that
pretzel.
relate? What came first?
I've been wrapped
What
in a
came
pretzel.
first? The stub of, you know, short stub finger or whatever,
yes.
or actually someone that hit their toe and was like, oh, fucking stub your
Well,
toe.
maybe it was like you had fingers and then you stubbed it so bad it was gone.
And it
now
became
it's
a stub.
Or maybe when you hit it, it felt like you had stubbed it.
Well,
'cause
maybe
it
a
was
stub-
like lesser, do you know?
Maybe a stub is not what it used to mean. Maybe a stub was you ran your toe into something, it came off, to Tom's point, and became a stub. So the act of stubbing it produced a stub.
But as we've got softer and softer as a people,
And we
stubbing
do.
it is
and
just
as
been a
we just
scratch.
sit over our desks and our fucking backs have curled and we've lost our fucking alpharism and our muscle
Muscles are
density's gone to
wasting.
shit.
Yeah.
So we're just the joke of the great ape kingdom.
A stub is now just like a cut toe.
Yeah.
Whereas it used to be
now
you
it's
lost
like a little
toe.
bruise. You're exactly right.
Okay. So it used to actually mean you fully chopped your fucking toe off.
Correct.
Yes. Well, you lost it.
And
in a
whereas
stubbing
now
accident.
it's like, oh, fuck yeah,
Oh,
it's
my
over,
nail
and then you're
broke.
sweet.
Yeah.
Whereas Ricky is old school stubbed. He's got no fingers.
Yeah, Ricky's old school.
Ricky's got no
Oh, yeah.
nails.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he doesn't refer to it like he's never hit his toe and gone, oh, stub me toe, because he would never disrespect the purity of a stubbing.
Well,
he knows.
he knows where the word stubbing's come from, what it means.
He's got none on it. He's stubbed all of his fingers on his hands.
Yeah. No, he respects your stub.
Yeah,
He
he's
knows what it
fingerless. Well, he's got half fingers.
Stubs.
Man, this finger doesn't bend. I didn't fucking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't fucking put it back in properly.
What do you mean? Let's just see it.
Well, just it doesn't bend.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah.
Dude, MG's got that same thing where it's just like out like that all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
If you're a footy
Fletcher's
player,
finger?
well, it's just-
Fletcher's finger's fucking disgusting.
Everyone, you dislocate it all the time. You just fucking put it back
But
in.
like that Fletch finger looks like eternally painful. Like
Yeah,
it
it
must
does.
catch on shit. Well, you got to put your hand in your pocket. That thing's got to be like,
Yeah,
would that classify as a stubbing because it's still on his
No,
finger?
no, that's not a stub.
So Ricky wouldn't even call that a stubbing.
No.
no,
Brian
fuck
Fletcher.
no. That's a dislocated finger that is now found a new location.
So he'd
finger
almost
that's moved
scoff
homes.
at that. Do you think Ricky would scoff at
that's
that finger?
soft
You go, why didn't you chew that off?
Yeah. I would have tuned that off.
Fucking use your teeth.
Ricky would have been like, Ricky would have been like, I'm gonna lose my hand. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
just
gonna
bite
get
it off.
infected.
Yeah, fuck that. We're not putting this back in place. Just going to bite it off. Ricky bit most of his fingers off.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, fuck. Footy, there's so much stuff that you get desensitized to. When Josh Maguire broke my nose and we used to play together, so we were teammates. We played reserve grade together. Anyway, he made a break. I was fullback, so I'm playing for the other Q Cup team. So I was playing for maybe North, he was playing for Aspley or whatever in Q Cup. He made a break, gets across the line, I tackle him, I hold him up one-on-one tackle, and he just goes, fucking bows. Like, whilst I'm holding him like that, fully just makes my nose go, boom, breaks my nose.
That's the most Josh Maguire thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, like we're mates. And then you play on with it, and then you just go into the fucking dressing room, and the doctor's like, "All right, you're right, mate. Yeah, I'm right, mate." Bows. Puts
That
it
hurt
back
when
in.
he pulls it back in?
It just ding, like it's just it fucking kills.
Jesus Christ.
But it just
Breaking
kind of
my
sends
nose
a
scares
shock.
the fuck out of me. Like, I just...
I've done it
that
heaps
seems
times.
like...
I've done it heaps of times, as you can see. I mean, it's fucking pretty obvious to see that.
It's relatively straight.
Yeah, it's pretty straight.
Well, look under there, though.
Oh, it's fucked.
Is it hard to breathe?
Yeah, I can't believe right one side.
Really?
You know what fucking like rocked me? And this is only probably 2 years ago. I didn't know how fucked it looked from there. And then I was like, fuck, every chick I've ever kissed is shorter than me.
And
she would have seen my fuck nose from that angle, which is probably the worst angle there is.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't take a lot. I mean, I haven't hooked up with anyone taller than me yet. Well, I'm married, so I won't do it. But, like,
yet.
But the concern, like, I don't know if that's, I mean, I don't know. Maybe
it's a strong concern.
I can see. Concern. But I mean, you're married now, so who cares? You don't retrospectively wig out about it. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Look, I think the really interesting thing about like a nose is that you always have to stay humble because you've got a negative thing in the middle of your face. Do you know what I mean? So like everywhere you go,
I think it's beautiful, dude. I like your nose.
Don't hit with it.
But
like, think about it. Everywhere you go, right in the middle of your face is something that's fucked. So you always have to be brought back to the reality that you have something that someone can pay you out about. It's actually
Everyone's
keeps you
got
humble.
something that you can pay out. I think you're too hard on yourself, to be honest. I know.
Look,
I want to get you on the couch and therapy you, but
look,
like,
bruh, we're way past that. We're way past the therapy needing. Trust me. The beak is aerodynamic.
Yeah,
it's half the
hot.
fucking brand.
I like it.
Roosters, Knights.
I'm going the Knights in this one.
Same.
I mean, it's a bit of a vibe bet. Obviously, the Roosters are good. Tedesco back, Takiao back, but Safidi back. Pierce is out. Didn't know that.
Okay, that changes.
Okay, that does change some things for me a little bit because I thought their spine was back together.
I assumed Pierce was playing, didn't do my research, and I just thought they're coming 10th, looking for a spot into the 8, and the Roosters haven't been blowing my socks off at all.
No, but I had Pierce.
But the Knights without Pierce are a different side.
Yeah, so I actually might have to change that bet. But Ponga's in, so fuck it. I already said the Knights. I'm going to go it. Knights to win head-to-head. Not going to put a margin there. I'm going to say Ponga.
I'm backflipping. I'm backflipping. Roosters will win now.
Yeah, I think Roosters are going to win, man. Like, did you watch the Knights last week or what?
Didn't.
Oh, well, they got beaten 46-, and it was like
that's a great point.
30-0 at half time.
Melbourne.
Yeah, but
it was
Melbourne
30-0 at half time though.
Melbourne dominated everyone.
Did Ponga play again?
Ponga played.
Mate, what do you mean? Melbourne put fucking 50 on South, and he was saying they can win the comp.
Yeah, I know that, but that is different.
That was a one-off. You know what I mean? Whereas Knights have had games.
Until Penrith did it.
But I know what you mean.
But Knights have had many games where they've struggled.
No. I've seen Pierce's out, and I'm going the Roosters.
Yeah, fuck. I mean,
no, you have to stay with the Knights.
You have
I'll
to
do what
stay.
I want.
No, don't fucking change it. Don't change your fucking bet.
You said you're going to stay true.
All right, fuck ya. Knights to win. Ponga two or more tries. Where's Connor Watson playing?
13.
And who's at halfback? Good name. Phoenix Cross.
That is one of the great names of rugby league.
Phoenix.
That could be a good omen.
Okay, I'm going Roosters and Roosters 1 to 12. Cowboys Storm.
Storm, bro.
Cowboys 13 plus.
Cowboys 13 plus.
No, Storm to pump them to within an inch of their life.
Man, it is just...
Hylam Lukey, though, speed of light, he's back.
Yes, that is good. That is really good for the Cowboys. He's a big body.
So if Munster's been rested...
Fuck.
Then don't you just put Nico Hynes in at 5'8"?
And then put Papenhuyzen at
where's
fullback?
Papenhuyzen been named?
So Hynes has been named at fullback. Papenhuyzen has been named at 17, and the halves are Cooper Johns and Jerome Hughes.
Cooper.
Interesting. You don't want to just put Papenhuyzen like he's been straight in. I think you ease him back into it because
Cooper's
what they'll
played
do
all right when he's played this season as well.
They'll move Hynes to 6 and bring Papenhuyzen on. That's what I think they'll do. But yeah, fuck. Honestly,
Adokar and Welch back.
Storm, you could they are basically going to win the comp. Like it's so.
Yeah. I was thinking about it on the car ride in.
Fuck.
Only Manly can beat him, I reckon.
Yeah.
Going to be interesting. I mean, look, Cleary and Jerome are they are incredible.
They are
incredible. So, but I don't understand. How do they do it? Like, how do they do it?
The Storm?
Yes.
Yeah. They just
Jerome
keep rolling them
Hughes
out.
is fucking killing it.
Is it like, it's obviously just like, obviously it's a mixture of
and then Nico
Bellamy's.
Hynes comes, no one knew who the fuck he was.
Yeah. Well, he was playing for Manly and Trent got rid of him.
Reserve grade.
No one knew who the fuck he was. And now he's like the best player in the comp.
Yeah.
And the Sharks got him at, probably
600
unders
chaos.
now.
Yeah, that's unders. He's worth like 800 right now with the impact he's having on his team.
100%.
Yeah.
And the Broncos apparently offered him 300.
That is so good, dude. You could have flopped your cocks out and gone, we'll do whatever it takes to get you up here.
The crazy thing is like, he's in a key position that we need too. It's not like, oh, he's a really good centre, but we've got Tony Staggs. So it's like, fuck, it's whatever. It's like,
No.
we need a good fullback or
Reynolds
a good
and
Reynolds and
Hynes
Hynes with testing you at the back, that fucking gives me a hard on.
Well, it
So-
shouldn't because it's not happening.
But no, thinking about it gives me a hard
okay.
on.
That's fair.
It's called fantasy, mate.
Yes.
I think the Storm win by 40 points.
I think that's probably not a bad bet. Storm 40 plus.
Yeah, 40 plus.
They are just
I'm actually,
bullish.
I don't mind Storm 40 plus as a bet.
Oh my God.
It's not a bad bet, is
That's
it?
not a bad bet.
Yeah, it's not a bad
I
bet.
actually think it's going to be a bit of a shit fight first 40 because the Cowboys are going to want to bounce back from last week.
No.
I bet they want to.
That, you
I
know
bet
what?
they do.
You know what I'm realizing this season? That whole bounce back thing's not really a thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
maybe back in the day when you could grind it out and fucking
Yeah,
hit hard
that's fair.
and make your tackles, it's sort of like if you get outclassed,
Yeah.
you get outclassed fucking quick smart.
And you just fuck. Yeah, I'm
But
sure
I
you
think
want to
that's
bounce
more
back.
of a gap between, whereas they
Yeah, but
used-
what I'm saying is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
Cowboys aren't going to be like, fucking let's get out there and fucking, you know, it just doesn't really work that way. Against
Okay.
the Storm as well.
Yeah.
What are their average wins this year? I think it's like...
It's like 40 points they're averaging.
Well, they've won by 40. They've scored 40 points 11 times or 12 times.
I think Dior Dave, our intern on Hello Sports, said the other day they're averaging 37 points a game,
Oh my God.
which is fucking outrageous.
The average winning margin is roughly 28.
Their winning margin. That's margin. That's not
Roughly, yeah.
points.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Points
That's
is
hot.
up around 38 to 40.
That's hot.
Fuck.
See, 40 plus, baby.
Yeah.
Come with me.
I used to hate the Storm back when it was like Manly v Storm, really sort of like I fucking hated them. But it's hard to not like the Storm. Their players are cool. I don't know, like they're obviously playing very well.
Yeah.
If they're up against Manly, I hate them. But like just in general,
They
they're
just demand respect.
Yeah.
As a franchise, they've got to be one of the most successful on the planet.
But they'd also be one of the best in terms of the
Right
time
up there
as
with
well.
the Chopperoos.
Well, yeah, it's Chopperoos and
Well, but Chopperoos is
They're a
more...
national side
but that's
as well.
a rep side.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
talking more about franchises,
Club. Okay.
clubs.
but you could potentially, and I
'Cause no
don't
one's
know the
out
history
chopping
of
the
sport, but
Chopperoos.
in their small time, like they'd be close to like one of the best franchises in Australian sporting history, right?
Yeah,
like
oh,
most
fucking
successful, consistently.
Mate, I'm taking it outside of Australia. I'm going global.
Dior Dave again, our intern who's getting too much of a mention. He was like, I realized the other day that when I watch the Storm, I'm always calculating our place in the ladder by how many points we are at first place, as opposed to like most people who are like, oh fuck, we're in 12th, we need a
Yeah.
couple of wins to get to the 8. Or he's like, I just think like we're either first or a couple of wins off first. And I'm like, it's
crazy.
That would be your life, wouldn't it? You
Yeah, like being a Storm fan is like, if you chose like choosing that 20 years ago or 10 years ago, it's like a lottery ticket. You know what I mean? Like you've basically guaranteed yourself positive, successful
Yeah.
years. Like essentially most of your weekends, you're not sad.
No, yeah, you just win every
Yeah,
fucking
because
weekend.
you just win. There's never a year where you're like, man, fuck footy, this is fucked, I don't want to watch. It's like, we're going to have a great year.
And best believe, and rugby league fans will know this, but when your team loses on the weekend, it fucks you.
Oh.
It's better to have we were talking about this, is it better to have your team lose at the start of the weekend or on a Sunday when you're hung and bounced?
Sunday, you want to enjoy the weekend with hope and vigour.
But if you're hung over and then your
No,
team
it can
loses,
fuck your week.
does it
Yeah.
sort of fucking send you into the next week on
True.
a
Or
really
it's like you
bad
get it
note?
over on a Thursday night.
If you get it over on a Thursday, it's out of your system
Yeah.
by a Sunday.
Yeah, that's true. And you can really enjoy the Saturday. Rip in on a Saturday after Thursday loss. You start building hope for next week on the Saturday.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Because if you lose on a Sunday when you're down and out,
When you're down and out, though, and you're working against yourself, you're only going to make more of the loss than is probably even there.
Yeah, you'll
Whereas on
overthink the
Thursday,
loss.
fuck it. One more day tomorrow, then I'm ripping and tearing all weekend. Who
Yeah.
gives a shit?
That's true.
But if you lose on Sunday, you're closer to your next game. But if you lose on Thursday, you have to wait over a week and a half.
yeah, but
Yeah,
if
but
you,
I
but
bet
you
you can.
bounce.
If you've got activities lined up, bit harder in lockdown, but generally speaking, if you've got a fucking weekend of Yahoo lined up,
Yeah.
you can put that in your back of your mind pretty quick.
and if you're good at lying to
But
yourself,
Sunday morning when
Yeah.
you're covered in your own fucking pizza and filth, and your
And
team
regret.
goes down, you got to get up at Sparrow's Fart to do a podcast, and you're defeated. Mate, it's hard.
No, that's tough.
It's hard to climb your way out of that ravine. I don't know if that's the right word.
No, the ravine's a thing.
okay, so Storm 13 plus, South Warriors
40 plus, mate.
Storm 40 plus. South, Latrell back, AJ out. Arrow returns. Did you see the video of Arrow?
Yeah, it's great.
At
It's
the
great.
team barbecue just on
Oh,
Zoom.
What I love
That
about
was
rugby
funny.
I
league,
couldn't get over it.
Like,
I watched it like 50 times.
What I love about rugby league is like it doesn't take long for them to take the piss out of a serious situation.
Yes.
That's so rugby league. It's like,
it's Australian as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You just go,
We
fuck it.
fully fucked up, and then within a week we're just making jokes about it. It's
That's
great.
also what's probably. I think that's good for some, like for Arrow, in that like, you know, obviously he fucked up. But, like, you don't want it to be some long, over-the-top, drawn-out thing. And now it's just like they're making a bit of fun out of it and having a laugh. And it's like, sweet, you've paid your penance. You're in lockdown.
Yeah.
You're at the team barbecue via Zoom. And,
He would have been doing some barbecuing by himself as well.
Well, exactly. That's almost the beauty of it. As soon as you close the laptop, you can rip and tear.
Or even
which
open
we know
the
he
laptop.
likes to do.
Maybe keep their laptop open.
Yeah, well, that's true. Zumba.com. So I think it's a good omen for them.
Has
that
he got a
he's back.
subscription?
Zumba.com. Fucking
Premium stuff?
He needs one now. He's single.
I think there's a category on Pornhub that's Zumba now.
There should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
There absolutely should be. If there wasn't before, there is now. Zumba.
Zumba instructors sneaking into your room.
Into
And that's
Origin
it.
camps.
And you're risking your professional future
Yes.
by letting them sneak into your room.
Yeah, it's a... it's like one of the most popular channels on Pornhub.
Yeah, it's
Categories.
just Zumba teachers sneaking around.
Sneaking into
Yeah,
places
sneaking
they
into
shouldn't.
places they shouldn't be. Yeah. And then at the end, the whoever's like having it off with the Zumba teacher gets caught. Like,
Ah, shit. Fine.
fuck.
Yeah.
They could even do like as they get caught to be continued.
Or that GTA Wasted comes up on the top.
Okay, I'm going South and South substantial.
Yes.
Yeah, South.
Substantial
13 plus.
South. Latrell to score, Mansour to score.
Okay, so we've got RTS is out. Yeah. Okay, so South substantially. Manly versus the Tigers. Travojevic brothers and DCE named all the Travojevic. So they've got Jakey back. Aloye returns, which is
returns.
big.
I wonder who he's come back for.
Yeah, that's just going to be interesting.
Oh, maybe DeLuey.
Yeah,
Sweet,
okay.
there you
Louis. Yeah, I think Manly's going to
For-
get.
This would be close to our full strength team, except for maybe Curtis Sirenen, who. But like, I think that'd be pretty. This would be pretty.
I mean, you
close
could
to
argue
Olakau'atu.
Olakau'atu is playing as well as Curtis has
Oh fuck
played.
it! No. Curtis doesn't come back into the side.
Yeah. Oh, well, you've got Lawton that's there.
Carl Lawton on the bench. Kepi will be on the bench now. So it'll be Kepi, Carl Lawton.
No, well, Kepi's at 13 now, I'm pretty sure.
Well, Jake would be, wouldn't it be?
Oh, yeah, apologies.
Olakau'atu,
Schuster, Olakau'atu,
the blind
Jake.
man.
yeah,
and
okay. Fuck, that's fucking strong.
Yeah. best back row on the
Lawton's
comp.
out this week.
Lawton's out. What's the bench?
The bench is Dylan Walker, Josh Holloway, Sean Kepi, and Toff Sipley.
Hot.
Nice.
That's a fucking hot bench.
It's hot.
What's crazy is that Moses Sully drops off that as well. I'm assuming he's not in the side.
Yeah, he's in the
He had a
reserves.
great game.
Dude,
He had a great
wow.
game.
He was
And
one of
he
your
had-
best. He was the man of the match almost. He was fucking
He
crazy.
was running like an absolute maniac. And it was like, you know when you see big boys like that running, you sit there going, fucking hell.
He
That's
looked
every
like
time he ran it.
he's in like career best.
Fuck. He's a
Nick.
big, thick boy.
And
Fuck,
that's
he's a
the
big,
start of
thick
the
boy.
season. Manly's got no depth, and that was probably a fair thing to say at the start of the season. Now we're dripping in depth.
Isn't that, how can you go from no depth to dripping in depth?
One name, Des Hasler. He
We
takes,
had no depth whatsoever.
and also you recruited guys that other clubs weren't giving a start. Like you weren't recruiting from Storm and Penrith. You were recruiting rejects from Dragons, from Bulldogs. Like,
Warriors.
It's just,
Carl Lawton has
like,
come in
it's
and fucking
incredible.
ripped.
Like Des Hasler is a super coach, and the only reason why he doesn't get put in the same category as like a Wayne, and don't get me wrong, he's not as good as Wayne, Craig, and Trent, but there was a few years there, especially when he first went to the Dogs, where his name was in that fucking category.
Yes.
You know, he took the Dogs to a grand final first year, then 2 years later to another grand final.
There's a part of me that would say, and this is obviously dripping in unqualified opinion, unwavering bias, that he is still, like, I don't think Trent's eclipsed him because obviously the Roosters, are a different situation to every other club. Desi's been operating in basically like the shittiest facilities known to rugby league. Demountables. And the Roosters, access through nefarious means or
3
what have
prems
you.
in fucking like 10 years.
Yeah, but
like
Des,
4 or 5 minor premierships.
2007 we didn't win the comp. Melbourne are cheating. Fucking, and then 2013 we didn't win the comp. Des wasn't there.
You can't really
but
count that. How many prems did he win?
We've won like 4.
But how many prems did he win?
He's won 2.
2. That's what I mean. Trent Robinson's 3 in like since 2013.
Yeah, But Des is doing it out of demandables. The players have got to bring their own chairs
Yeah.
to training.
They got to bring their
fucking-
plastic chairs.
If you're coming in for video session, you got to bring your own chairs.
Look, I'm just saying.
Otherwise, you sit on the floor.
Yeah, which is damaging for people with like injuries and shit. They got to
Yeah.
sit on the floor.
And look, we're not proud of it, but it is what it is. Des
I'm
is
proud of
doing shit with the bare bones. I'd like to see Trent running on fumes and see how he goes.
At the
It's
Roosters,
very
they're
nice
bloody-
when you got a billionaire to fucking do your laundry for
Yeah,
you.
the Roosters have got like San Pellegrino in their water
Yeah.
bottles and shit. Like,
No one at the Roosters has drunk anything other than sparkling water the moment they walked into the joint.
They actually have sparkling water plumbing throughout the whole fucking
correct.
joint.
The whole thing is
You gotta
sparkling
go. You
water
gotta
taps.
fucking. You gotta dig your own bore out at Narrabeen and fucking pull it out of the earth yourself if you want to drink.
Like, you got Schuster fucking carrying buckets of water from the well that's about 50 metres
And
away
he
from the
doesn't even
playing
know where
field.
he's going. Half the time it takes him hours because he's got to go fucking
Mate,
find
some
it.
days-
Where's the water? And Schuster's fucking
Yeah.
200 metres down the
Schuster's
road.
halfway up the Wankhurst
the first
Parkway,
time
doesn't know
Schuster
what
came to the club, they sent him off for water. He came back 5 days later, and they thought never again. He's only run one at water once.
No, yeah, it's too dangerous. He's too good. We don't want to send him off into the bush.
No, because you got to do it. It's like a fucking quite a trudge into
Yeah.
the bush.
And a lot of the media thought he had skipped training, but really he got lost.
Remember
getting
that
the
when he
water.
was getting in shit? Or Schuster doesn't love the club anymore. Blah, blah,
No,
blah.
he was lost in the bush. They just tried to sweep it under the rug because they forgot that he can't see.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Manly's not proud of it. the fact that man has to walk 40 k's into the bush to get
No,
water.
but it makes us tough, and that's why we're so good.
One of your employees, a blind employee for that matter, getting lost in the bushes because of your directive, that's not good PR.
No, that's horrible PR.
Well,
But
they didn't realise he was blind because he's so good at footy.
yeah, they were just like, Jesus Christ, there's no way this guy's blind. It turns out he's very blind, and sending him off for water in the bush, that's a big problem. But it's also why we've never won a spoon, because we're just tough. You know what I mean? We just fucking, when the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Yeah.
I guess so. Trent Robinson,
Not as good as Des.
he's better than Des at the moment.
But he's not, though. We
In
just
my
explained why. You literally just didn't listen to anything.
Did you not
we
listen
said.
to any of that?
I just explained to you how he's not.
Manly versus Tigers, who you got? And Tigers are coming off one of the greatest documentaries of all time.
Look,
Manly will win by 50 points.
yeah, Manly's going to absolutely just.
I'm
it's
going Tigers 13 plus.
Good. I can't fucking
You
wait.
want to put? You want to put money on it? Put money on it, mate.
All right,
Fucking
$100.
$100.
Yeah, Tigers 13 plus.
There we go.
Fucking hell.
Love it. We'll get some more scratchies out of him soon.
Yeah.
$100. Actually, put your outrageous bets. No, put your smokies in the comment section. So that was an outrageous bet. Obviously, like
Yes.
from everyone else's perspective, I can see things that a lot of people can't see.
Yeah.
That's why Tigers going to win 13 plus. But put your smokies this weekend that a lot of people don't think are going to happen, that you think are going to happen
And
now.
also keep putting them on the about even
Yes.
thingo for the
Yes.
bloke case. None of them have come off yet, but
Well, we can't be beaten.
well, to be honest, it's more that we're just like, it's not even that they're beating us. We're like, okay, we'll take that bet, and these bets just seem to.
Well, it's
no one
just-
can tip.
It's a reminder that people can't tip to save
Yeah.
their fucking souls, except us.
yeah.
So
So go to About Even, leave a comment with your bet. They will choose one, and if you beat them, they will send you a free case of Bloke in a Bar. About Even on YouTube.
Also,
Panthers,
sorry,
sorry.
just before we move on, because you did put this on your story, and it was just about Kieran Foran's comments about Tom Trbojevic having a total package.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah,
'cause
I mean,
obviously it's talking about
he said, end quote, he has a complete package.
a complete package.
Which is interesting, because usually you say, is the complete package.
but we know what he's talking about.
But he said, he's a complete package.
Yes.
well, he's studied it.
Yeah.
Des has got all the boys to study it, and
Well, yeah, they go in video
glean
sessions.
things from it.
They get it under the bright lights in the video room, and everyone's just sort of come like you're in a museum. You sort of walk past, look at different parts of it.
It's like when a king dies and people like,
It's
or
a
the
viewing.
Pope dies, and you walk past and you view it. It's like that.
Pay your respects.
You pay your respects. Yeah.
That gets the boys up and about before a game.
Yeah. Down on your knees.
He also said on 2GB on the weekend, Kieran, that Tommy Trbojevic is the best player he's ever played with, and that he's got the brain of Joey and Thurston and the physicality of GI and Latrell. Just,
You know what's crazy
If you
is
want to
like-
make me hard, play that to me.
You can't really argue against it. Obviously, he hasn't achieved, let's get all the obvious shit out of the way. He
Yes.
hasn't achieved that, blah, blah, blah. He's not Joey Johns, blah, blah, blah. Get all that away. But when you look at his form right now, you can't argue against it. He does have the physicality of a guy like Trell or GI, and he also does have incredible footy smarts where he knows, okay, I'm just going to take a hit up because I can see. You know what I mean? Like it's not just like, oh, I'm going to take a hit up because I want to take a hit up. He's like, I can see the A defenders are slightly wider. It's on their line. I'm just going to take a hit up. And it's like a simple play, but it's also a complex play, you know? So, yeah, it's not fucking that far-fetched at all. And Kieran Foran, talk about one of the great redemption arcs.
I know.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, Tom and I said this from the very moment he left, is that things aren't going to go well for Kieran. And we don't. Not that we weren't wishing the best for him. It wasn't that at all. It was just that we know when someone feels at home and when home is best for a young man. And the Peninsula and Kieran, 2 peas in a pod. And now look at him. He's re-signed. He's playing his best footy he has in years. He's injury-free. He's ripping and tearing. He's got the VC on his arm. He's captain when DCE was out.
Yeah. And he's going to win a comp.
Yes.
And he's going to win another comp.
Another comp.
Could
you imagine he went from wooden spoon team that released him, and understandably
poo premier.
He went from poo to premier.
That'd be a good doco.
He went from fighting with poo to premier.
From poo to premiers.
Um,
I'd love
From
that
poo to
doco.
premier. Love it.
Hello Sport production.
Yeah, something to
that's
work
our
on, Tom.
doco, Yeah.
Panthers, Broncos. Luai, I think, returns. Is he named at 6?
Yeah, Lil has been
Sick.
named at 6.
Okay. What do you guys think about 10-year deals? Like, 'cause even Tommy didn't get a 10-year deal.
No, but I mean, you kind of don't want it. Like, I mean, there's something also about, not that to infer that a player like takes the foot off the pedal, but like there's something about, having a bit more of like, you just a little bit of pressure on yourself. Right, I'm coming up for contract. I don't know. And also,
It's so speculative.
What's the point?
Yeah.
What's
It's
the point?
so speculative.
You're still
10
paying
years-
$1 million for him,
Yeah.
right? So it's like even.
Well, I'm assuming that they're thinking in that last 5 years, you're getting like basically a $500K discount. You know?
Yeah, but that's assuming he rips and tears for 10
Yeah,
years.
I
That is
agree.
a fucking staggering amount of time. And you're obviously talking about Payne Haas.
Yeah. Sorry, Payne Haas. Yeah.
Like, boys up front don't rip for that long, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Like, it's more of a safer bet for a half or like a Tommy Turbo.
Well, I just think even if you take
Even though he's injury riddled, but you know what I mean.
even if you take all of that out, like let's just look at the best clubs. Do they do those deals?
No.
The Storm and Roosters.
Well, Manly has, but
Yeah, but we regret it.
What? But
Like we
yeah.
did. It's made cap management
It is
difficult.
fucked your
it was
cap.
a desperate move because we had both of them going. Basically, that was a desperation play, which
No
you probably
one-
had to make though, Manly.
No
at that
one,
point.
no one would sit back and go, "That's a fucking great signing." Like it was a great deal.
I think it was for Manly in the sense though that, and again, I know it sounds like I'm just being an arse licker here, but like, just that they were.
No, you'd never do that, Tom.
No, I wouldn't lick the arse of Manly, but like we would have lost Foreign and DCE in the same year.
Yeah,
if we
the
hadn't
only
have
issue
pulled
is
out the
that
stop.
since then, you haven't, it
No.
hasn't paid any, like the point was to keep you at a premiership threat, and you just haven't threatened
There's
for a
been some
premiership.
fucking pretty lean
There's been
years in
some
there,
lean
buddy.
years. There's
So
been
it's
some
Let's not
lean
forget
years.
we came second last.
Even though DCE is
I forget quickly.
just one
Mate,
from the memory.
There was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
fucking. We were in a dogfight a couple of years ago.
To be fair, though, that deal is structured slightly differently, I think. I could be totally wrong, but it's like percentage based as well.
It's against the cap.
Yeah, so
It's
like
even
that,
worse.
Yeah, which is a poor.
It's even worse.
Yeah, because you're not even getting the
Because
discount.
you're assuming the fucking cap goes up.
Yeah.
It's a shocker.
But you're not even getting the discount that you hoped you were going to get in that last 5 years.
No, you just have to pay more.
Yeah,
every
you
time.
just keep paying him more.
Yeah.
So like the positive with a 10-year deal, usually I'd assume, is the discounted 5 years you get at the back end.
Yeah.
I was under the impression, could be wrong, you might know more, that off the back of the COVID shit we had last year, the current state of the game, and just about securing the financial future of the game, that the cap was going to be pretty stagnant.
Yeah, I think so.
So you're probably not getting the discount that you might have in the past where there was those massive cap jumps.
Look, I only think that the only cap increase I feel that we should be making is for the smaller players.
Yes.
I think if we're going to increase the cap, it has to be given to, because that's how we build the quality up. If we can pay the guys that, are outside the 17 or just on the fringes and reserve graders more, that's how you get a good foundation
Because
and you even the comp.
you're making it sort of financially viable for players who are
100%.
like, well, fuck, do I want to go and play AFL or NBL, lol, or something else where you're just like, oh, well, actually, no, rugby league still is financially going to be better
There should be, and I don't know how you could do it, but like a different cap for outside your top 5 even.
Yeah.
Because they, like, if you increase the cap in the past, they've just thrown shitloads of money
Yeah,
at
like
blokes.
clubs get desperate and they just go,
Like,
fuck
no,
it.
but like Ben
Yeah.
Hunt, what's he on, $1 million fucking...
Yeah, like 1-1 or something like that. So
You know what
one
I
at
mean?
least.
Like,
Yeah.
that's sort of where it can get a bit crazy.
Well,
when,
you've got to take the power out of the club's hands, because no matter what, a desperate club is just going to go, nah, fuck it. We're going for
Yeah.
the big player.
for feeder.
Yeah, you look at Fafita. Now, again, it may work in their favour because they can recruit because of him, maybe. But I just think that if you're looking at for the betterment of the game, you make it so there's no increase to your top 10 players. The increase is to your reserve graders, so that someone can say, look, I'm a career reserve grade player. And like that might sound funny or whatever, but you want to be able to have 10 players that are like, I'm okay with being a reserve, earning $90K a year for the next 10 years as a reserve grade player. You know what I mean? Because that builds up a good foundation for you. Actually, I want to quickly ask you, what do you guys think about so the 6 again rule? It seems that the best teams have figured it out, and they're just like, I'm just going to lie on them, give it away. I'm not going to get sent for 10 because the refs going to be too scared. Now, some people have said maybe we bring in, if they do 6 again, like as in they give away 3 penalties on their line, we send them for 10. Like maybe that's, I've thought that might be an option, but then I also think that if we add more rules in, we're just adding more fucking rules in.
Can you just give a penalty then and just go, all right, like if you go 3 in a row.
The whole reason why they do the 6 again on their line is to slow it down. So that's actually works to their favour. If you give a penalty away, that's like, all right, sweet, mad, we'll just fucking take the 2.
Because then you're not potential 6-point play.
Yeah.
I was always under the impression, I could be wrong, or they might have gone away from it a little bit, that if you gave away too many penalties or 6 agains on your own line, they did send you.
I thought they were going to do that too. They even talked about it. But on the weekend, like the Roosters, when they were under the pump against the Cowboys, they just went, fuck it. And they just literally, like, Angus Crichton could see that they were under the pump. So he just made the choice of like, and he's a senior player, I'm literally just going to lie on this guy. And it wasn't like a 50-50 call. It was just like an overt, obvious, I'm just going to do it because I know I'm going to send. And then they did 2 more penalties, and the refs after the 3rd penalty was like, you better watch it, boys, you better watch it. And then they held them off and they went and scored a try and won the game.
See, that's fucking Trent, again, a smart operator.
Yeah.
They would have identified, well, hang on, they're not actually sending blokes off. We just fucking lay on them all day long.
Yeah. Well, Rabbitohs were doing it. Storm were doing it. Matt, can you just get that light, please?
You're right. It seems to. I feel like there was a period where they were sending blokes off for that. Though.
Well, they did. They said probably 6 weeks ago. They're like, we're going to start sending people off that do it, but they haven't been doing it. Like the best teams have learnt how to.
The best teams learn how to take the piss.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but they're also like, I guess the best teams have defence they can back. Right, like you can just back it. Like, all right, we'll just tackle again. We'll just give them another 6 and go again.
Yeah, but that was the issue with the wrestle, is that the team's defence was getting so good that we were getting these like 12-6 games and like 8-6, and it was just like, because they would slow everything down. If you can slow it down enough, you should essentially be able to defend every set. If you can, because you've got the same amount of numbers, and you've also got more room to make up that room. You know what I mean? You're getting up off your line, you're giving yourself 10 metres to make the right call or whatever. What's also interesting as well is like the old system with the penalties is if I give you a penalty at any point in the set, it's the same. So for example, if you get a penalty at 1 tackle, that's the same as getting a penalty at the 5th tackle, in the sense that it stops the game, you kick out, and then you go again. I think the issue with the 6 again rule is a lot of penalties have been given away at tackle 1 because they're like, it's just an extra fucking tackle, and they get no more meters.
Yeah.
And so when you do the math with that, let's say, so at the end of the game they go, oh, the 6 again count was 5 penalties each. Okay, let's say there was 10 penalties each.
So you reckon they're trying to even it up, the refs?
Well, what I'm saying is that not all penalties are equal now. So for example, if I give away 10 penalties on the 1st tackle, that's 10 extra tackles that I have to make. If I give away, 10 penalties. If I give away 10 tackles on the 5th tackle, that's 50 extra tackles I have to make. So let's say the penalty count is even. It's actually not even, because if you went back and looked at, okay, the penalty count was on, they did it all on the 1st tackle, they did it on the 4th and 5th. Whereas the old rules, if you gave a penalty away, it's all equal. The only thing that's different is how far they can kick, but that's on the player.
Yeah.
And so the issue is they brought in a rule they brought in a penalty that's actually not equal, and yet when they put the stat sheet up after the game, it says it's equal, and they kind of sit back and go, well, 6 agains, they're even, but 6 agains are not all equal.
That's an interesting point. I'd never thought about that.
No.
So I would love to see, what's more important? 1 extra tackle.
Extra tackle is fucking whatever.
But also, it's 1 extra tackle with your line completely set. Or you can go 5 tackles on the back foot. Because if you lose that 1st tackle, let's say he gets a quick play the ball and you don't just say, fuck it, I'm going to give away a penalty. You're on the back foot for the whole set. So, I just think that they haven't thought about the implication of each penalty on each tackle.
And ways to sort of hoodwink the system.
Well, and just understanding that each penalty is not even. Like each 6 again is actually not the same penalty. To think that a penalty count could be 10 all, but one team has made 50 extra tackles and one team has only made 10 extra tackles, that's an issue.
Yep. That's a fair point. I hadn't thought about that either.
And so I wonder what they're going to do I just think that give the old penalties away more. Like in the sense of like, if you're coming out of trouble and they give you can choose referee's discretion, coming out of trouble, they give a penalty away on the first tackle, penalty, kick the ball. You can kick the ball out because then at least you've got field position and you're going in. You know, if I'm an attacking team, I'd rather the penalty kick 40 metres upfield. We have an attacking set.
Yep.
Would you not rather that as well?
Yeah, definitely. So then that would be like the referee can still give away a penalty though, then, right? Or is it like they can?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like the way they could maybe fix that on the penalties on first tackle is at their discretion. They could go, that's a penalty, boom, kick out
on first tackles.
Yeah, or just on the first 3 tackles or whatever, first 2 tackles or whatever. Again, I don't want to keep adding rules.
Then you're
in.
yeah.
It's
It's almost like when you change the rules and then you don't think that you don't give it enough thought. And then it's like, oh, we've got to just hammer on a little bit here to fix that, and then hammer on a bit here, and then before you know it, you're fucking so far away from what the initial issue was.
And I think that was the issue with, like, last year they did such a good job. Landis and Abdo and Greenberg at the start of getting the game back on track. They made those changes. And I just think that I thought the game was really good last year. I didn't think anyone was talking about, and maybe we were just grateful to have the game back. So maybe that's the bias that we had. But I thought they should have just sat on their hands for 24 months. Don't add any new rules in. Don't change anything and let the game adjust. Whereas like the rule changes last year and then more rule changes this year. And then if they make more rule changes again, it becomes like, fuck, as you said, you just, before you know, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
You're fucking a million miles away from where you thought you were going to be.
Plugging leaks everywhere.
Yeah, and you're just adding rules to make rules, and before it fucks the whole reason.
The secondary rule from another rule.
Yeah. So
Shit
it's interesting.
show
I'm not sure what they fucking can do.
do.
What do you think they should just leave it?
What if they went back to old school rugby league rules? Don't know what they are, but just fucking
1908.
1908
5
rules.
meters?
5
Fucking
meters.
go back to 1908.
Just go back. Whatever they did in 1908, back to the roots.
Well,
back
it
to
gave
what
us the
worked.
game we've got now.
Man, it's so crazy seeing those older games where like the back, even the forwards are like, 95, 98 kilos of front rows. Then you look at like today and you got like blokes like Latrell that are 115 kilos.
Just look like they were built in a lab.
It's
You're
fucking
like,
Give them the
crazy.
old ball as well.
yeah, the leather ball. That's
The old leather ball. That takes on water, yeah. Like
comes
carrying
like
a
an old
stone.
sock.
Okay,
Why not? Fuck it.
Panthers Broncos.
Broncos will get pumped.
Ooh, Broncos can't even. beat
We had their
Tigers.
number. We won the first.
The Tigers
half.
beat you by, 18 points?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got robbed.
Robbed?
Yeah.
You
of
gave
their
up.
Ability.
The last 20 minutes was appalling.
Panthers to rip and to tear. Luai back. Broncos suck.
Tell you what, doesn't he bring that big dick energy? They miss that throbbing that he does.
That 1-4 fucking boombox on the shoulder, swinging his cock around as he does it. Like,
They missed a cockswinger.
They definitely missed. He is a cockswinger. Absolutely cockswinger.
New South Wales missed a cockswinger. You
We
could
did,
argue.
yeah. Well, that's what I was saying on the podcast with Finchy is that like even New South Wales lacked a bit of the swinging cock on game 3.
It's big time.
And you saw Panthers, even their try celebrations, the dick wasn't swinging the way it used to be.
There was no swinging cock in the
Mate, if you're in a
celebrations.
contest, you look over and an alpha's got his hog out, then you
Swinging
go,
it.
fucking Jesus Christ.
I'm going with him. I'm going with a cock swing.
Well, you're going with the bloke swinging it, and if you're playing against the bloke swinging it, you go,
you're trying to dodge it.
Jesus.
You're not even focusing on footy.
might
You're
go
trying to
home.
get hit in the face.
It's like the Miller Suncorp, and he's
You know,
literally.
you get turkey slapped.
That's the height of
and
disrespect.
there's nothing more alpha than turkey slapping another bloke.
Imagine getting turkey slapped in Origin. Fucking hell. Gordon Tallis and the bloody...
Mate,
That'd be out the window. Be
Mate.
replaced pretty quick.
I tell you what, and you can't even fight over it these days either.
no, you can't. You got to cop a slap. Turkey slap's legal in rugby league, but punching not. So if you get turkey slap, that's
Think of the kids.
That's on you.
Think of the kids.
yes.
What I want to actually, I haven't asked you thoughts on Lachlan Lewis's performance on the weekend.
Look, that was weird.
It was
a
pretty
weird.
fucking beat
If
up,
it's
you ask me.
if it is
That
what,
was one of the saddest things I've ever
well,
seen.
if Cody actually did say go back to reserve grade and then he pulls the most like reserve grade lack of fucking control.
It was like, if you're going to have a crack, have a crack.
He also
It was
didn't look
soft.
angry. It was like smiling as he did it. I'm like, at least look pissed off, dude. Like, at least you could then make me think that he said something really fucked up. But you kind of just smiled like you were fucking.
It looked like he was wrestling him into bed. I was like,
Well, that was the
was like
strange
a
thing.
starstruck by him.
It actually looked like fun banter.
Yes.
When it happened, like it didn't look violently aggressive.
No.
It looked like it was.
pillow talk.
Yeah, like you're out training with on a pillow talk, or you're out training with your mates and you're mucking around, you wrestle
Yeah.
to the ground,
Yeah.
and then you kiss each other.
And
maybe.
you kiss each other, maybe a little bit, roll around. Who knows?
It didn't seem.
Yeah.
Buzz Rothfield thinks he should have got 2 weeks.
Oh my, give me a break.
But Buzz is just saying shit to be fucking outrageous now. He's like, we've got on the back of the Telegraph tomorrow. Well, I'm suggesting 2
Yeah, but you've already
weeks.
said it here, though, so it's like you've jumped the gun on your back.
He forgets he's getting filmed as if he's like breaking it on the Telegraph tomorrow, and it's like, but you're saying it now, Buzz.
2 weeks for like wrestling.
2 weeks.
For a bit of shit. For a
I
bit
even
of
thought 10
roughhousing.
minutes was a bit harsh. It was like dumb.
Well, 10 minutes is more just like, bro, you just can't do that.
You're just an idiot.
You just-
No,
you can't
it
do
was. It wasn't anything more than just embarrassing.
Yeah.
I
It
was like,
embarrassing
that
for
was
him.
soft, and you've come off looking like a bit of a fucking.
Tell you what,
shit.
I actually thought the greatest thing from the weekend, which we didn't talk about, was Kane Evans, 18th man, fold some cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, that doesn't have rugby league. I didn't post about it because I didn't want to snitch on him, but it got out anyway, so I,
Yeah,
probably should.
well, we did post about it. It was already out though, so we didn't snitch, as we know snitches.
No,
do
but we're
get
not. We're not
snitching.
We're not
celebrating.
snitching. We're celebrating it.
yeah,
We're
oh, no,
supporting it.
I understand that.
It's great for the game.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
He's
I
playing
get it.
18th man, and he's going, if I get a shot, I'm going to
gonna
fold
fucking
some
fold
cunt.
some cunt. And it's a rugby league inspirational quote.
If I'm
right?
a coach, I'd be bringing that bloke up at full time, win or lose, going, this is what the club's all about.
Yeah.
The 18th man prepared to fold some cunt.
Well, what was interesting?
Rain, hail or shine.
is
I mean,
that-
that's what it's all about.
Well, what was interesting is like, that some in the media were like, it's a bad look, it's this, that, and the next thing.
So if you fucking zoom in on it and put it on the back of a paper.
But the interesting thing is like, they took that route, and yet like an hour later after that show of them saying it's a bad look, you've got Michael Maguire sitting there going, fuck me, fuck that. And
That's
it's
a
like,
very good point.
hang on a sec. Like,
Wait
this
a
dude
second.
literally had a small writing on his fucking arm saying fault, which is very rugby league. It's what we want.
Well, he's also reminding himself that if he gets out there, he might forget that.
Yeah.
Like, you need to go, if you get out there, you go, I got to fold some cunt.
But
here.
it was such the double standard that
Yeah.
we see every single week. It's
Of
like,
course.
Michael Maguire, your feature show that has just been shoved down our throat.
Everyone watch this. Everyone watch this.
It's him going, fuck it, fuck. And it's like, but Kane Evans is the worst bloke in the world for having written, don't get me wrong, it was fucking stupid, but it's still funny as shit.
yeah, but
it's not a big deal.
90% of households would have seen that and gone, what a funny cunt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
I'm with you.
know
I'm
what
with
I
you.
mean?
And he has the ability to
No one
fold some
gives a
cunt.
shit.
And
And he
if it was like a halfback with fold some cunt on his wrist, you'd be like, well, that's probably not going to happen. Kane folds cunts.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, you remember that Sam Cassiano hit where he didn't fold, he shoulder charged the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
That might have been a different message on his hand.
I
That day,
feel, I
though,
feel
don't
like
know.
sometimes, and again,
Do you reckon Hopewadi had
Fingers.
some on his arm?
Possibly.
look, I'm
We're ruling that out.
you know what? It's because back then we didn't have HD,
No,
so you actually
you
couldn't
couldn't
see it.
tell.
So you zoom in, it's just scribble.
It's just all
Yeah.
fucking scribble, but it really has fingers. Look, I
Food
mean,
for thought.
stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened.
Definitely have.
But yeah, sometimes I wish the NRL, and again, I don't know the upper workings of like, I understand sponsors have got to be kept happy. I get all that. So if this was an issue where the sponsors were blowing up, I understand why the NRL, may have to, even though they didn't say anything, but like the club's got to come out and say we don't condone it, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes I wish the NRL would just take the UFC route and just go, you know what? Let the boys fucking play.
Fuck
Yeah,
it.
but he didn't write fucking fold some cunt sponsored, brought to you by CommBank.
But that's what I'm saying though.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying though. Like,
That's such a long bar.
That's what I'm saying though. Sometimes I wish like the clubs and that should just be like, just not even talk about it. They get
Yeah.
a call from it, just be like, it's a non-incident,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
don't talk about it. Like,
And tell him like, hey, bro, don't do it again.
Yeah.
But like, don't come out and be like, oh, we've got to be seen to be fucking.
Yes,
really.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
UFC very much just go, like they'll just let crazy shit happen. And that's why they've grown so much, because they allow stuff that other professional sports don't allow.
Yeah.
And the yarn and the narrative that we love and enjoy, the UFC they kind of like promote it. They're like, yeah, fuck yeah, go
Yeah.
crazy.
Be your own character. Be your own sort of brand.
And so I sometimes
and
wonder,
we'll film it.
yeah.
we'll film it and we'll probably pay you more
He
money
might
to do
get
it.
a fucking laundry sponsorship off this. Who knows? Like,
That would be
Kane
master.
Evans fold some cunt. And it's just him there like folding shirts and shit.
I honestly-
Mate, if I owned a dry cleaner, I would be like,
Yeah.
fucking oath. Come him in, strap him up, blur it out maybe for television, unless it's late night. And you'd move.
Well, you'd get people bringing their garments into a Kane.
Well, you wouldn't
Kane
move
Evans
anything,
zone.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you'd be punching out dry cleaning left, right, and
But
centre.
well, you'd start.
ironing,
They'd be popping
whatever.
up everywhere.
I just think like the days of being the prim and proper on TV now are gone because the internet has ruined that. Like you can't if you're competing against the internet now, where it's just a fucking wild west.
Well, it's how people speak.
Yeah.
I mean, people didn't swear, I suppose, back in the day. Like, my parents are like, geez, you swear too much. I'm like, that's how everyone speaks.
Yeah, my parents always.
At least in our generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even Ella, my partner, she's fucking swearing every second word.
Yeah, same.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think it's a younger
in
generation
our
thing
apartment
for
building,
sure.
where like Steph will walk around, I'll just hear her say "fuck, lad." I'm like, listen, I know I swear a lot as well, but like we're in the common area. She'll probably be dirty at me for saying that, but she swears like
You got
a
to back
fucking
her.
sailor.
Back her.
No, I know, but I'm a little
back
bit
her, mate.
like
Back her, your dog.
Honestly.
Did you say back in the dog or
Back
me a
her,
dog?
you dog.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. I was
Don't
gonna
be a
say,
dog.
I
to
didn't
your
want to have to fight you.
Don't be a dog to your wife.
Once again, we've gone back to you trying to fight people.
I'm
It's
gonna
really
fight
weird.
it. Dude.
It's really
Every
weird.
week.
Yeah, it's honestly every week.
Traps.
getting
Dude, my
weird.
traps are
You know what's
getting
really
bigger.
weird is that I feel like your face paint is getting redder by the minute.
Bro,
Or both of yous.
Yeah, I keep looking at my fucking
Is mine getting
hands.
redder?
Yeah.
I feel like it's melting off my body.
Maybe it's seeping in.
That's going to be a problem to get out.
Because maybe because I've been looking.
Imagine if this was us forever.
Yeah, I've been looking at you
It's
so
like the club.
much. You just look sunburnt now. Really badly sunburnt.
Well, this is a problem. I don't know how this is coming off. I feel like you haven't got water-based face paint, you fucking idiot, Eddie, with the greatest respect.
But yeah,
All
so
face paint's water-based.
I think gone are the days of having to be like prim and proper. I think that like a lot of companies have got to take a little bit more. Just fuck it.
Yeah.
Caution to the wind.
Fuck it.
Broncos
Fuck it, footy.
13 plus. Dragons v Titans.
Panthers, 40 plus.
I don't hate the Dragons in this one.
It's a DMC, so you got to be careful.
The
Approach with
Dragons
caution.
somehow missing no one except Corey Norman.
Yeah, wow. Well done.
I'll tell you what, they got off pretty well with what happened.
It's fucking disgraceful.
What the fuck is
It's
that
fucking
about?
Disgraceful.
They just got to post. They got to
It is-
postpone them.
It's, from what I'm seeing, it's a player every week.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's one player a week.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous and it's frustrating. Luckily, we pumped them. But I like the Dragons in this one because the Titans can concede points and they hate to defend. We know this.
I've tipped the Dragons. It's a vibe.
I'm surprised that after the fucking performance of Tyrell Sloan, is it at fullback last weekend, that he's just completely out of the side and Matt Dufty's back.
Yeah, I think it's like, Dufty is still, he's had some struggle, like not good games, but he's also had some really fucking
No,
good
I
games.
know. I just mean like the young fella played well.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I thought he played well as well. But I guess you've got to give your senior player an opportunity to
The
have a
senior
crack.
player, you're not offering a fucking contract to.
Yeah, but
that you didn't want.
But Sloan is going to be there next year.
Yeah.
So, like, you can say, we've got him. We don't have to worry about losing him. Whereas right now, we just need to win games.
True.
And again, I'm not saying that Sloan, maybe he would have played better than Dufty, but Dufty has played some pretty fucking good
He's got the
footy
runs
this year.
on the board.
Fair enough.
This is a tough one because you just don't know what Titans are going to rock up.
No.
You do know Dragons are usually going to be pretty good defensively, relatively good.
They weren't horrible against Manly.
No,
Even
not
Manly
at all.
like,
I
led them into the
think
game.
this is a game Dragons win. Getting to the pointy end. Want to stay in the 8.
It's a DMC game though. Fuck, it's one they get done.
I'm going to go Titans 1-12.
Titans are favourites though. That's what flipped me.
Oh, okay.
Are they favourites?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going Titans 1-12. All right. Bulldogs versus the Sharks.
Sharkies, but not by
Sharkies.
much.
Haven't they, they've gone from, impressive to what the fuck?
Actually, Bulldogs.
Doggies for the upset.
Bulldogs upset.
Because they were good last. First 40. They
Yeah.
were
Dogs
good.
upset.
That's true.
Dogs upset.
You know what? I'm going doggies upset too.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
I'm feeling it.
Fuck it. Dogs.
Dogs upset. 13 plus, or are we pushing it too far?
We are pushing it.
I don't know if they've got a 13 plus in them. I think they can grind out a W though, a couple of points.
Dogs beat him this year already.
Oh,
There we go.
Oh, you're right.
Nah, Dogs to win for sure.
Dogs to win. All right. This should be interesting. Okay, make sure to follow Hello Sport on Instagram, Punters and Dribblers Club on Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast on your podcasting app. Also, grab a Punters and Dribblers hat. Grab a Bloke in a Bar case of beer this week for footy. For the footy, we also have Bloke in a Bar hats. We have some stubby coolers, bottle openers, all that good stuff on bloke.shop. And as usual, I'll go and fuck myself. Thank you.